This is the Troll Patrol live with JustinFREAKIN.
There we go. Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Thursday. DJ Dub, my lord. Kick Chat was doing that thing where it didn't work again. All right, we have been watching a police chase. This is going on currently in L.A. Because, of course, it was L.A.
Enough that they can kind of.
We've got a murder suspect.
And pull their.
We're a little bit behind. We're like 10 minutes behind.
Almost cheering him on at some points.
Yes, cheer him on.
So LAPD now has that factor to deal with as well. Folks coming out trying to participate.
So we're a little bit behind.
Of the slow speed chase here on Main Street on a Thursday afternoon.
But this is still going on as far as I know.
In this part of town, and some folks obviously trying to catch a glimpse. But in any event, you can see that original pursuit package.
Gaia, welcome in.
Toe here. They are now right on his tail. He is
once again the police chases all being L.A.
That car
comes from the fact that they are the biggest TV market. So all the TV stations have helicopters. And they have a dense population. It's very car-oriented.
In a couple minutes here, we'll probably.
You don't get a lot of New York
let's go ahead
police chases because a lot of thieves aren't getting in cars in New
we
York.
Might even be able to position
they'd be running
ourselves on the opposite side. Now getting into oncoming lanes of traffic again. Every time he comes up on these smaller.
But we do get them from Miami, from Boston, from a lot from Phoenix.
But he still is going northbound. I think the likelihood of him turning is starting to diminish. He's going to take the straight up Main Street.
I like the name Bronny James Dio.
And most likely right back to the original neighborhood where this pursuit started.
Wow, he's just going in a circle.
So we're going to lose sight of him momentarily. We're going to try and keep the camera on him. You can see all of those flashing lights right behind him here on Main Street. And we will try and do our best to keep a visual of him.
So once again, this is live. My speculation was that this could be musician David.
If you're familiar with that neighborhood, and there's a lot.
They found his car. I think it was a Tesla.
Slow speed pursuit goes right on by, and we're staying on top.
He had a.
If you're just joining us, this is a murder suspect. This is
young lady's body.
Police and law enforcement are taking very seriously. They're not going to let this guy go. And now that they had that perfect spike strip, they don't have to let him go because he cannot maneuver or move fast enough to be that much of a danger to society. What is the big question is this guy armed? And what's going to happen when he can't go any further? What is the reaction going to be?
Yes!
Give up?
And we are live!
To run, or is he going to fight? And we have to be aware that these possibilities exist in a big way, especially if this is a murder suspect, Giovanna.
It means content warning, fuckers.
On his last breath as a free man, and he could be desperate.
As you were talking, David, the man on the right of your screen was waving his hands and sort of shaking his arms. Apparently,
I'm just saying, be careful. We could watch somebody die live on stream. That's possible. We've done it before.
That law enforcement is in touch with him.
Man, we watched that one police chase, and that woman.
Family, hopefully they're trying to talk.
She was doing, what, 90, 100 miles an hour? She came off the highway onto a exit ramp.
On both front tires is gone.
Went into the dust off the side, because it was in Arizona, off the side of the road, lost complete control of it, and hit a concrete barrier under a bridge.
One is from a collision with a pickup truck when he was going the wrong way.
I saw somebody, I knew she was dead. But we saw it so clearly, and my stream is the only way you could ever see that video again.
Look at that. Right towards you, Chris.
Westbound Florence, a wild left turn.
Wild left turn.
And he just randomly made a left turn on Florence. I should tell you, we may actually lose sight of him now because unfortunately we were in the process of transitioning through LAX's airspace. The control tower was nice enough to allow us to follow Main Street northbound along the 110 freeway, and we were able to catch up. But now, unfortunately, we're going to start pulling away from him here as he ventures back into the Bravo airspace towards
the Jack in the Box again.
And that's gonna inhibit our ability here in just a second.
Oh yeah, everybody refresh.
This is gonna
We are back. We've been back.
real problem here. He's going to disappear behind these buildings. LAPD fortunately able to make that turn with him. We're listening to the radio to see if they have any luck, but a random turn there at the very last second, making a turn off of Main Street onto Florida.
They'll probably re-show the incident where the bumper came off.
Underneath the 110 freeway, underneath the
Bumper got damaged and is barely hanging on. Came off is not the right descriptor.
That is going to put him.
He's getting back on the highway.
Getting back on the freeway.
What?
He might be getting back. He might be getting back on the freeway. That's
Unbelievable.
not an entrance ramp, but it's going to. Yeah, that's this northbound Flower, which runs parallel to the 110 freeway here. But he will eventually run into a entrance ramp that
I've never been to Arizona, Byronic.
decides to take it. So look at him. He's coming up southbound on Florence, and now potentially you have to wonder why he's making these turns. Is he deciding that maybe he
I would assume it's like most places that
So
the
maybe this is just a game of
metropolitan areas are pretty cool and the rural areas are
but it
pretty
almost
shitty.
looks, you see the on-ramp right there in the middle of your screen, and it looks like he is going to take it. We will see here.
You don't have much of that in Detroit.
Reverse course, 'cause now we are.
I don't know.
Now we are
I could imagine
just south
that
of
the
downtown LA, looking
super highways are a thing of
freeway, and once
the
again,
last 20, 30 years, and Detroit doesn't actually have the money to invest in those kind of highways.
Thicker traffic. I mean, we're further into the rush hour than we were earlier, and you can see a lot.
We were watching a police chase that was in Arizona.
110 freeway. I presume he'll make his way.
No, I
over
did not mention driving through Arizona. I've never
He's not gonna
been.
Go very fast because we know that those wheels are giving out on him. Those rims are on borrowed time. It appeared that the rear tires were affected as
Oh,
well.
Look
I
at this.
believe.
Look at
The
this.
truck
This
is
truck
getting in
is
the
trying
way.
to get in the way, trying to get him to stop.
Oh shit, don't do that truck. And yes, I've heard that. I've heard that like Phoenix will have to be evacuated. That trying to even live anywhere in the state of Arizona was a bad idea.
So now LAPD getting that exit ramp, getting back on
That it is uninhabitable.
Avenue.
It could only be inhabited and like at that moment in time.
westbound on Manchester Avenue, and we will see if he comes up through this intersection, decides to maybe either make a U-turn or continues westbound.
I mean, we're gonna start rounding up poor people, right? They're gonna
tree right there.
they're gonna try to make as many of us homeless as they can, and then they're gonna execute the homeless. They've told us what their plan
Eastbound
is.
turn on 84th.
I'm just kind of amazed at how fast it's
Now
happening.
going underneath the freeway once again. And
I saw several people today being like, rich white men are getting fired. We're screwed.
most comfortable during most of this
There it is.
pursuit, but actually looks
You
like
know, Flash, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't.
found on 84th, I believe, coming up on Broadway, and almost looks, if you notice that, guys, it almost looks like he's able to pick up a little bit of speed there. The way he went through that intersection, he's going through a residential neighborhood now. LAPD right behind him as he continues eastbound on 84th.
Yeah, hard to see him from this view now, but we know
Women are really, really hot.
that pursuit suspects will often return to the neighborhoods at their most.
But like, women are hot for a gazillion reasons besides their looks as well. I love this
It
maneuver.
actually appears that he is still on Manchester, so he's eastbound on Manchester.
Going the wrong way towards
now managing another vehicle that's trying to get involved in this.
semi-trucks.
So they've got another complicating factor here. Not sure what the relationship
That's where the bumper gets damaged. The first hit.
is attempting to follow. We have multiple reports of that now as he makes a north
You're right, Flash. You're right.
Main Street off of Manchester. If you notice, guys, he's now done a complete circle here in South LA. So he is definitely making it up as he goes along, maybe providing an opportunity for potentially another.
Well, I mean, clearly the GOP mommy thing is about more than just their looks.
You know, at this point, guys, I think they've had.
I like powerful women,
opportunities.
period.
They were going to give a go-ahead for that pit maneuver, and the fact that we have not seen it yet tells me they have made the decision that it might be too dangerous with whatever information they're working with, because I think we would have seen it already, and under these circumstances, the fact that we haven't tells me they may be just looking to continue the course here without a pit maneuver. So he is now on the east side.
I still, it would be funny if this turns out to be singer David.
In fact, if I'm not,
they found a woman's body in.
Has actually been right along this stretch of Main Street twice already.
In
So
his vehicle.
might be the third time that he's driven through this neighborhood.
I like powerful women.
I was
Period.
saying earlier that
I've never dated a woman that was in the GOP.
with neighborhoods at the
I have only been with strong, powerful, liberal women,
and
leftist women. A lot of my partners have been further left than me.
Suspect, he's wanted for murder. That's what we know. We don't have any details, but they also have to keep the public safe. So it's very difficult for them to balance the two. And time is on their side. They can continue.
Again, I did see that one. I was seeing that one woman in Alabama.
Get him fatigued to where he's just.
Oh, Terry, welcome in, Oregon gal.
To give up.
Yeah, at some point.
I was seeing that woman in Alabama.
We'll run out of gas.
And I'm at her house, and there's a picture of
or another mechanic.
her grandfather.
The other obstacle that they are
in clan robes, and that was kind of taking me because she was very leftist.
Occasionally to get involved here.
This was during the first Trump administration. She was very leftist, very hardcore against them.
They're going to pull their weapon on the suspect.
Well, whoa, yeah, Kaya.
That he cooperates, and they don't want to have to use force. But in
the girl in David's Tesla was only 15.
They can't afford to have anybody.
I did not know the age. I hadn't done the story yet. I'm not a pre-watch Andy. Remember, guys.
So now he has made another.
So I will only
from
know headlines most of the time and not know all the details.
Still crawling along here, doing about 20.
That is something we were going to cover tonight.
As LAPD continues.
I've heard that Anna Paulina Luna's grandpa was a Nazi.
He is just.
I'm not sure what you mean, John, about helping you join the Discord. I don't.
All right, and we will.
If you click the link,
watch this pursuit of eventually, if we can.
It will take you to my server. If you don't have
suspect, we can't.
A Discord, it's going to ask you to sign up and create an account, yada yada yada.
This guy off.
Once you do all that stuff, you'll probably have to click the link in my title again.
That has no tread. Oh, he's
turning once again.
Taking another.
No tread. No way. He's riding on rims on both the front tires.
Yeah, exactly, and that poses a real danger too, because if you notice, these are narrow residential streets. So
I think it just said missing girl anonymously. Also, like, I'm not paying that much attention.
They're well trained.
Just get good with the computers.
Factors nonetheless. When you have these narrow streets in a residential,
I'm not high enough for this shit.
You know, that's why we always say we would much rather see a dangerous pursuit on the freeway as opposed to a narrow residential area, because we just don't know.
I've never listened to David before. We're going to do that after the stream.
Making several.
You guys are just joining us on Kick and D Live after the Troll Patrol at 11 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're going to watch Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is hosting The Daily Show. Jon Stewart does not usually host The Daily Show on Thursdays.
He's going to be southbound on Avalon through.
Kaya, are you offering to drive over here, because you absolutely can?
Los Angeles here at about 25 miles per hour.
You're welcome.
An unknown amount of gas in the tank.
That's a good point. That could go on for quite some time. I was leading to the fact that
anonymously, I think Kaya has other intentions.
Some severe weather.
Than just getting high.
In the Inland Empire that we would love to get to eventually. We have another helicopter out in that area that is covering the weather. But of course, we want to see this come to a conclusion, because this is a dangerous pursuit, and this suspect will not give up. Nevertheless, law enforcement is taking it seriously, and they are content.
We can talk about it later,
Chris, to see this guy just meander through the streets until he decides to give up.
Yeah,
the invite link is in.
I would say now for upwards of 30 to 40 minutes, where he has
the title.
Had the luxury of really being able to accelerate. It's just kind of dragging that bumper along, riding the rims, grinding into the pavement.
My
just
kick
trying to
chat
get
isn't
through some of
scrolling
the
and bringing
intersections.
stock on it.
Occasionally, he'll go right through the red light. He'll swerve around into oncoming lanes like he is right
That's
here.
my count.
and
That's
right
not
back
the
on the
server.
right side here, and just taking these officers along for the ride. But the fact of the matter is, it is not.
This
a
is
normal
an
suspect
invite to
behind the
the
wheel. It
to
is
the
a
channel.
murder suspect who is presumed or suspected, I should say, of taking the life of somebody. And so just the behavior that we've seen during this pursuit, the crime that
Once
has
again,
been
this is
committed here,
live
the original one, the
in
other
LA.
crimes that are
Well,
associated
close
with
to
them,
live. We're about
it
10
is
minutes
a
behind.
dangerous situation,
Maybe
to say the least.
15.
And it's not over until it's over. They don't know what they're going to be dealing with when he eventually
We have a
comes
murder
to stop.
suspect.
If, you know, if
Last time I
desperate
checked, it
enough,
was still going on.
they will be prepared for any situation. But it seems like a static situation when you cover these. What was a high-speed pursuit has now turned into a slow-speed pursuit, and what appears to be a static situation could change on a dime once he eventually comes to a dead stop. And so, like I said, it just isn't over till it's over. And when you see these people cheering him on, it gives you pause, because you just don't know how this is going to end. You see people crossing the street here. Some people keep completely.
I really shouldn't
about the
flirt
pursuit,
with
but they
people
hear
in
the
chat.
lights and
That's
sirens coming
how
through this
streamers
part
get
of
in
South
trouble.
LA.
But then again,
And,
like,
just knowing who was behind.
if you
the wheel,
find
they
out
know
that
what
I
they don't realize.
moved in with somebody in
This is a
chat,
person,
would you be
to say
that
the least.
surprised? No, because
At
I've
least
already
he's
done it
stopping
once
there
before.
at that intersection on a
It did not work
street,
out.
and letting some of the traffic go by, and law enforcement patiently watching him. Obviously, you know, the ultimate scenario is.
No, but I wasn't even fucking her.
No matter what, so they are.
It was supposed to be like a business
Let
arrangement,
that come to a conclusion.
and it didn't work out.
Approaching Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock, and when we get to the 5 o'clock,
Yeah, there was no say. If maybe if I'd thrown her a bone, things would have gone different.
moments within this pursuit, and you could see how.
I think that might have been the issue.
Joining it right now, you see it going at a very slow pace, but that is for very specific reasons. If this guy had his
Media went. She was in Echoplex the other night. I mean, not that long
a
ago.
very dangerous way, which we have been seeing. Chris, you're on the move again.
And I was like, really? What?
Clearance to transition southbound and hopefully meet up with him on the other side here as we transition over the 110 freeway. We're going to lose a visual here for a couple of minutes. The hope is that he either comes to a stop or continues in this direction, because obviously navigating LAX airspace is complicated and is a little bit tricky. So we're going to lose him for a little bit here, but what I can tell you is that as he continues the pattern that he's established, which involves a number of loops through this part of town, whether he continues the circle or if he continues southbound on Main Street, they have asked for another spike strip. So if they have the opportunity,
Another spot. Well, what's that gonna do?
they will make another attempt.
To take out the back tires, and he's just gonna drive on the back rims.
Not deflated already, and based on the ability to maintain control of the vehicle, I'm guessing that those rear tires are still doing a bulk of the work there. And so for that,
Anonymously, I don't know how you watch
down
my
all four tires.
stream.
We know that the front two are gone. He's already riding on two rims. Now they want to attack
For
that rear axle.
quite a while, over a year,
Everything they could, and now
and then act like you know nothing about me.
has been laid down. We'll see if he hits it. We may not be able to show it right away, but as we come around on the other side, we'll be able to kind of line up with him on Main Street. So he's.
I mean, it is a drug. And that's the same thing I told her. This is like the same as caffeine.
Freeway,
She was a bit of an alcoholic, I think.
See him coming southbound towards us as he continues. Now, if he continues southbound, that's one thing I'm hearing on the radio. He may have just made a westbound turn, possibly on Century, so we may have a glimpse of him coming towards us here as we transition through LAX's Bravo airspace. Just kind of keep an eye out for him, Josh, as we come up on Century.
Absolutely,
We may
it's
see
the
him coming
deadliest
towards
drug.
us if we get lucky here.
All right, and as we begin Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock now, the voice.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying you. I was saying her.
Continue to keep an eye on this wild pursuit that's been going on.
I wasn't talking about you.
The show, watching the coverage that's been on.
Sorry. It did kind of sound like I was calling you out, didn't it?
At one point, this vehicle was making these wild maneuvers and has now kind of been forced to slow down because of the condition of the vehicle. As you mentioned, we know at least 2 of those tires completely gone now. He's riding on rims for some time. And as you mentioned, maybe a second attempt at a spike strip to get the back tires disabled.
Yeah, if anything, I have been I don't want to say I've been the abusive one in relationship, or
what is the goal here?
Been the abused one in relationship.
I think the goal
That's not
is
true.
for this.
It's been a two-way street. I'm apparently I'm not violent in any way, but I'm apparently very intimidating. When I get mad,
picture on the left,
I'm kind of controlling.
LAX restrictions. What you see on the right-hand side is some of the video that we shot during this pursuit. This pursuit has 2 very different personalities, very dangerous.
When I say controlling, I don't mean like
flying down the freeway, sometimes in excess of 100
to an abusive extent, but I think like that is something I need to work on. But I recognize it now.
Maneuvering, you'll see him as he sways from one.
And that's why I haven't been in a relationship for 10 years.
But as you can see, paying no attention to.
But I feel like I could be. I have, and I said it the other night. I have
an entrance ramp, and this is where you
punched above my weight class so many times.
He squeezed.
I have fucked up relationships with some amazing women.
Truck that he's going to try to squeeze between, and boom, he hits his back bumper. That's what rocks his.
I think now I might actually be good at a relationship because I've learned from that.
LAPD officer laying down a spike strip on Avalon Boulevard, agitating the suspect a little bit as he swerved right around, unfortunately missing that spike attempt on the
missed the spike strip. We kind of missed it because I was looking at
that spike strip laid down.
I was looking at the old footage.
Almost struck it, but he was able, because of the slow speed here, he was able to kind of navigate around it. So we have picked it up once again, as you can see here, as he continues coming towards us. He's now going southbound on Avalon. He shifted over a block from Main Street, and he's now coming up.
Speaking of Avalon, I have not seen Avalon.
Towards the.
They may not know that I have been given a well, they probably know I've been given a 30
freeway, and coming out the other side here, just south of the 105 freeway, David.
Yeah, so that spike strip was unsuccessful, but look at this spike strip. This is what.
I was getting ready to say, aren't you gay?
He was on the 91, and they hit.
I may be wrong on that. You might not be gay, but I wanted to say that you have been pretty flamboyant about it in the chat.
All the traffic on the.
But you might not be. You might consider yourself pansexual, bisexual, somewhere on the spectrum.
Is where that spike strip was laid out, and he went.
But you also kind of come across as
over
a
the spike strip,
guy.
and almost immediately you see front tires deflate, and minutes later.
Which is amazing. Like women usually like sassy gay guys.
The driver's side rubber had already come off, and so now he's dealing with metal on the asphalt on the front at least. I thought the back tires were punctured, but it looks like they are not. That's a great shot right there, Chris, that you could get a clear shot of not only the driver.
Man, anonymously, they're like.
Tires are still.
I've told the story about the gal I was seeing.
Rear fully inflated. Unbelievable to see that front left.
I did get twitchy again, but only for 30 days.
Amount of distance he's.
I'll be back in about 3 weeks.
Rims. That rim is intact.
We're still on Odyssey, D-Live, YouTube, Kick.
See those sparks.
The Kick chat shows up.
The vehicle, but that's not happening. That rim. Look at him gesturing towards the ice cream truck as he tries to put some.
He went by an ice cream truck.
You saw he was wearing some AirPods in his ear.
Matter Ursa, welcome in. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Living in sexual anarchy.
Underneath the 105 freeway, now going northbound on San Pedro. Northbound San Pedro Street, back in the opposite direction, just past the 105 now.
Oh, no, I got something running in the background of my computer or something, eating up my resources.
After evading a second spike strip attempt, unfortunately, he was able to navigate around it, so those rear tires...
I guess I'm in good company with Jimmy Kimmel.
Still doing the work here. on this rear-wheel drive vehicle.
I don't have I don't get on Facebook on my computer.
Spike strip, really, though.
Uh-oh, we got another one coming here. Oh, no, he made a turn.
Significantly, and he is still driving, of course, as we're seeing, but, you know, not doing a lot of the dangerous maneuvers, weaving in and out of traffic as much, high speeding that he was doing for the first half of this pursuit. That is, you know, the beauty in what they were able to do in terms of disabling some of this vehicle. I'm just shocked that the rear bumper is still hanging on there.
If you know the results of this chase,
way,
don't give it away.
He was going
Because
northbound,
we are like
and
10 minutes
eventually saw
behind, 15
another
minutes
officer
behind.
Appeared that there was another LAPD officer setting up for another spike.
I hope you didn't just do that. Come into my chat as we're watching a chase.
Westbound turn and is now on Main Street, northbound on Main Street.
Clearly wanting to know what happened through the whole
Continuing
thing.
at about the same speed, past 112th, and, you know, for a good time.
Oh, you're talking about Charlie Kirk. Okay, never mind.
Streets. Here comes another spike strip attempt. He goes right around that one as well. These officers doing a great job of predicting his next move.
Yes, you're in Discord, John Prick.
Slow speeds. It gives him
Welcome
a little more
in.
time to prepare as well. So they kind of have an idea as he establishes this pattern. There are now LAPD units flooding this neighborhood, prepared for these turns almost, as they try and
You are like,
to bring them.
I could see a mechanic being sassy.
Right now, they just haven't had much luck with those.
Come the
tires.
fuck on.
But he is running low on fuel. We have to.
And like the manliest jobs have the gayest
You
guys.
see smoke coming from underneath the vehicle.
Remember the episode of The Simpsons about the steel industry?
Continues braking. They're going to get very hot, and
Well, I guess they're trying to take out the back tires.
up on them. And as you mentioned, even that bumper, just hard to believe. It's hanging on. by
Driver
maybe
swerves
one
by
bolt
another
at this
spike strip.
point.
I gotta go get some
Still
tea. I am
dragged along
so thirsty.
Main Street as he continues northbound after doing several circles.
I'm at a coffee, and the last drink of coffee I took was
these lanes allows him to
full
see
of-
what is on
of-
the
of
side.
brine.
If he were tucked up against the right-hand side, perhaps officers would have a little bit.
because I
better
use a
luck, but he
French
knows
press.
that If he stays,
I'm at a creamer too.
He's on the
That
right,
that
he's
cup
on
of
the
coffee
right to it.
I had
In fact,
taken
we have
because I
video
just
of that
forgot to order
second
creamer. I got
spike strip
groceries
attempt.
today.
Watch
I had
here, and
I had
he is
put
coming
milk
up.
in the creamer
There is a
thing and
LAPD
shook it up
officer.
to
He
get the
pulls
last
the
little bit
spike
of
strip, and
creamer
it takes
out
a
of it.
really
Poured the
hard
milk in my
turn.
coffee.
Almost got him, almost, but he reacted just in time, and he made a really dynamic
Just in time.
spike strip. But they're trying.
Another
Chris.
spike strip
Another
attempt.
one. The third.
Yep.
Well, technically a fourth attempt.
Did he get it? Did he get it?
It's at least the third or fourth, and again.
Anonymously, is that a Yaris? Is that like a Toyota Yaris? Is that what that thing's called? Oh.
And yet again, you see more people cheering him on. The
Cheering him
longer this goes on, unfortunately, the more we start to see people try and come out and catch a glimpse, because as predictable as he's been for those officers with the spike strips, he's also been predictable enough for the folks in this neighborhood to come outside and, like I said, try and get a shot, try and post it online. But the joyride is continuing, unfortunately, just slow enough for him to evade these spike strips. It's a tough thing. You know, you would like to see him going maybe a little bit faster, so he's got less time to maneuver. But the way he's been able to maneuver the vehicle without those front tires is really amazing to me. In fact, a second ago I said that is a rear wheel vehicle, but I'm being told that that's a Toyota Tercel. It's actually a front wheel drive vehicle. And so almost hard to imagine, guys, but if that's true, that means that front axle
A
is a
Tercel?
lot of work here with no tires. It's pretty remarkable that it's gone on this long. You know, just a couple of nights ago, we followed a pursuit that was well over an hour long in a GMC truck that was riding on rims well into our 11 o'clock
Was
show.
that last night or not before last?
The wheels just came off. I mean, literally, the rims started falling apart. We saw chunks of metal just falling off the vehicle, and we're not seeing that today with this little
I
compact.
don't think Chris has
Toyota.
got his nights. There was a chase last night.
The last good shot.
Maybe that happened, but I think the one he's talking about was not
They
before
look almost
last.
intact. And here comes, look at that, somebody, a pedestrian throwing garbage at the front of the vehicle. Slow
What?
it down a little bit. Here comes another LAPD officer with spike strips. He's not gonna. He's trying to get around that. They didn't even lay it down. But now he's trying to go through this red light, weaving all over the road. This is going to start to do damage, I think. I think part of the reason those rims are intact is because he's been going in mostly straight lines. But that vehicle, just remarkable, like I said, that it's still going on.
Did you guys
really
see
crazy.
that
But,
Kamala Harris
thankfully
wanted to
he's going
pick
as slow
Pete
as he is,
Buttigieg?
because we know that the person behind the wheel would be so much more dangerous had they not executed that first spike strip.
That was her pick for
so
VP.
perfectly, really changing the dynamic of this entire pursuit, despite the fact that
He
it's
said
gone
that
so
was
long.
top of the line,
I have
first
to reiterate,
pick. What do you guys
there's a
think of
reason
that?
We have not seen them employ a pit maneuver. They have made a conscious decision not to pit this guy, and that has most likely something to do with the information that they have on the suspect.
Yeah, we don't know if he this
Is
suspect
that him?
is armed or not. We know that it's a murder suspect.
There he is.
We don't know if they have a firearm.
I don't know about
or that they have
Corolla.
the
It's like a
vehicle with them.
Yaris,
That
I
would be,
think.
you know, an increased danger to officers to try to do, you know, a pit
It's got
maneuver.
it's a different because it's the
And anything
hatchback
could happen
thingy.
after that. So a great point, Chris, to bring up in terms of why we haven't seen that, in case our viewers are wondering why officers don't try to just get in front of him and stop him that way.
Is it? I don't think so. I think it's
Yeah,
a Toyota.
and all of those tactics, you know, like I
Really
said
good.
earlier, they vary from agency to agency, but they are very well calculated, and they train for this obviously all the time, both
Yeah, Toyota Yaris.
and on pursuit tracks that they have at the academy, and they are ready for any and all scenarios. We've just seen this so many times. We have multiple pursuits a day here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we do.
So this is
Yeah, we
what
fucking
they are used
do.
to. It's just a little bit unusual that we see it go on this long, and that's because of the crime that's been committed here. This is a murder suspect who they are treating with kid glove care and giving him every ounce of leeway possible, despite the fact that he has shown so much desperation just during the course of this pursuit today. We don't know when that homicide took place, but just during this pursuit, we have seen such dangerous behavior. They are treating him, again, with kid glove care to make sure they can minimize the risk to the general public. The whole
I
point
don't
here
dislike
is
Pete
to continue this
Buttigieg, but
pursuit
he's also not a
as safely as
leftist.
possible.
That's a Yaris.
The fact that he is wanted for murder means they are not going to let up on him, but they're going to do this as safely as possible without putting the public in danger. And that's what we're
That's
seeing.
what I
That is
think
the
that
reason
is.
This has gone on for well over an hour now, and you can see LAPD, again,
Maybe?
flooding this neighborhood with units ready for a felony stop, ready with spike strips if the opportunity allows, and ready to protect the public on either end of the street once he pulls over or stops the vehicle in between two intersections. So they will stop traffic at some point when it comes to a stop. He's now
We're back to service
underneath the
streets, going
110
back through a
freeway, back
residential
on the
area,
other
it looks
side
like.
here, up Flower, making a westbound turn off of northbound Flower, and that may be, he's going to be either at 81st or 82nd Street, now heading towards
Okay, anonymously, you might be right on
these
that.
guys that we have been on already. He's covered a lot.
I
of the
eat
same
my words.
territory
Yeah, that might be
over
what that
and
is.
over again. So if some of these streets look,
But you could also see how I could think it was
we've
the
been here
Yaris
before,
thingy,
he
right?
has navigated
But
this
you're right. I think it looks more like that.
and is starting to repeat them as he just kind of makes up these maneuvers as the afternoon rolls on here. Again, paralleling the 110 freeway, now southbound on
Living on the 110.
As
Oh
he's
man, it's an
coming
ABI
right,
file. I
towards
can't.
you now,
use that
Chris,
one.
yeah, this does seem to be his familiar neighborhood, as we always see. He found
That's
his way
also
back
an
here.
ABI
He's
file. I
staying
can't
here
show
now
you that
he
one.
is
I'll just show you the
on these
webpage.
streets and
For the
taking
love of
almost a circular motion or square around this neighborhood, going back and forth, up and down these streets. I think the fact that the LAPD tried so many pit
That's the Corolla IM.
strips, it shows that they
That's probably what we're
would
following
like
right
to see
now.
this come to an end, and they're trying to push it to that conclusion. And I guess knocking out those back two tires would be a choice thing to do to get him to be unable to accelerate or maneuver.
I don't question you,
any
Mr.
further, and
Mechanic.
perhaps
You can see how I could
convince him
think
to
it
get
looks like
peaceful.
one of those Yaris thingies, right?
And I'm getting some more intel from some of our car enthusiasts that this is actually not a Tercel. It's a Toyota Corolla hatchback.
I am.
Is probably an all-wheel drive. If I'm not mistaken, I think it comes in all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, or perhaps just all-wheel drive, but that starts to explain why this is still going on and why he's able to navigate and maintain control of this car. It is because it is a capable compact sports car. It's an older model Corolla, I believe, but an all-wheel drive one possibly nonetheless, that is really giving this car the endurance it takes to ride it out again, without tires on the front. I just am still blown away by the endurance of this car. But as you can see, we're doing another circle here through South LA, now making...
Whoa, what do you do?
And thinking twice about it, another random last-minute turn, now committing to Hoover, coming southbound past 88th Street. You can see all of those lights and sirens. Right behind him, all of the traffic at the intersection.
Are we coming up on the Toyota-thon?
Once again, he's coming towards us now, another block over to the west, down Hoover Street in this Toyota Corolla.
And we also had mentioned a bit earlier, too, it's not only the endurance and how long this has been going on without those front tires, but even, you know, the left and right turns that he's making. I mean, you have to imagine that on the asphalt and concrete there, as he's making those turns with metal on metal, that would have an impact on the vehicle, too. But we haven't seen it impacted much.
He's going slow enough to not really be...
The brakes are hanging in there. You know, it's interesting, Chris and Michelle, that we've learned so much about vehicles by covering pursuits. We see ones that some vehicles perform incredibly well, others are exceptionally clunky. Unfortunately, this is a well-made vehicle that seems to be able to just continue to go, even though it is severely handicapped, but it doesn't stop him. And in the past, Chris, we mentioned this.
That seems insensitive by the anchor.
Tires go down to the rim. We often see sparks, and when the sparks, sometimes the car catches on fire. We haven't seen sparks on this vehicle just yet, although it does look like that back bumper is really starting to flop around there somewhat.
Yeah, we had a little bit of distance, so we haven't really gotten a close look at the bumper in a while, but it does look like it's either close to falling off or maybe even off. It looks like we'll see here as he makes the turn. Yeah, now it's just hanging by a thread there. So still dangling, but just barely. And it certainly appears that, you know, obviously with this all-wheel drive vehicle, he's able to maneuver it with those rear wheels doing a bulk of the work. But again, those rims are still spinning. They are still basically intact because he's not really going fast enough, although you can imagine just how hot they're getting, and that's why we occasionally see a little bit of smoke coming from underneath the vehicle. But now he's going back towards Figueroa. Another, look at this, picking up steam actually a little bit as he makes a wild last-minute turn northbound now on Fig Street, doing yet another circle back underneath the 110 freeway, and now northbound on Figueroa. All of those LAPD cruisers absolutely comfortably able to make keep up with them here. Here comes another spike. Two officers with spike attempts, almost throwing it. Look at that. I think he dragged the spike. I think he dragged that spike with the rear wheel. That may have the desired effect if that rear wheel got caught on the spike strip. One of those officers, you saw two spike strips laid down there, and one of them, I think, got caught under the rear wheel, and he might even be dragging it. We'll have a little bit of clarity here in just a second. He may have left it behind, but I think it made contact and was now, look at this, he's coming very close. Another close call with another motorist here going around traffic southbound on Flower, coming towards us once again right along the 110 freeway.
So at about 3:50 local time, that would be...
Tries to figure out his next move. We're seeing a lot more turns, a lot more
6:50
aggressive behavior behind the wheel as
East Coast time.
Each and every one of these spike strip attempts kind of
We've been watching it for about 37 minutes now.
The 110 freeway, I thought maybe he might even think about getting back on the 110 freeway, but he's obviously familiar with LA rush hour traffic and is not willing to get involved in that mess again. So he's going to stay on surface streets and once again continuing this circle around South LA. And look at that. It does look, I can't say for sure, guys, but it looks like in addition to that bumper,
I don't think he's got the spike strip.
That spike strip on the left
I think that's just the
rear
bumper.
quarter of that vehicle.
Wow.
Hello, welcome in.
Something that I haven't seen before, but that was quite the effort by that.
They're waving him on, yes.
That spike strip towards him as he was trying to maneuver away from them, and if he was successful, then maybe at least that driver's side back tire might be deflating. Hopefully it is.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have been watching this for an hour and 15 minutes.
For him to maneuver the vehicle. Maybe
the Troll Patrol has been on for 38 minutes.
Making that up. But it does seem to be a little bit more difficult for him to make these turns now.
We were watching it on Kick before the show started.
It almost looks like to me, it almost looks like it's had no effect, to be quite honest. I mean, he is just zigzagging.
He's still going.
And it almost appears to me that he's going a little bit faster. So he's probably going as fast as it'll let him go. But it just does not seem to be here. He's another truck backing up here as he navigates a narrow residential
street. If you're just joining us,
the
this is as close to live as you can get. It's about 5 or 10 minutes behind, maybe 15 minutes.
Affected by this. For the first time, it almost looks like he's coming to a officers with their door open as the vehicle appears to have come to a stop here. They have officers in front of him. And
Southeast Los Angeles, they got boxed in.
Where to go here?
We don't have a good view.
Street at 92nd. It has now come to a stop. Officers with their guns drawn out of their vehicles. We do not have good eyes on the suspect, but you can see that officer right there on the left-hand corner of your screen, the left-hand side of your screen rather, now instructing that suspect to get out of the vehicle, and we will see if he cooperates here momentarily. You can see there was an LAPD officer waiting at the other end of that street, and that was enough for him to bring the vehicle to a stop. Maybe even setting up for another spike strip there had he continued through, but in any event, it looks like he's blocking the entire roadway. That's a very narrow residential street. That's 92nd Street off of Main, and it looks like the driver...
John Prick with the super chat on YouTube, which I can acknowledge because we're not on Twitch.
Has indeed come to a stop.
I apparently can't say thank you for the YouTube super chat
Coming to an end, but
if I'm on Twitch, because fucking
it ain't over.
We have no free speech in this country.
Yeah, how is this going to come to an end? And clearly he is still in the vehicle. It doesn't appear that he is cooperating at all, but at least he's come to a stop. And this is where, Chris, we have been saying it could get really tricky, depending on whether he has a weapon or not. And also, the police officers know that this is a murder suspect. He is considered a dangerous person. So how they handle that could be due to what they know about him. And as you said, they may have more information that we don't know when it comes to how they apprehend him and how they handle him.
Absolutely. In fact, what they are not going to do in this situation, we can say almost with certainty, they will not approach that vehicle because of the crime here. Now, it almost looks, I can't tell, looks like the driver's side door is opening. We will see how he behaves. What will not happen, what I was about to say, is that they will not approach him until he shows signs of cooperating with them. They will not tackle him. They will form
It's the best streaming platform,
run for it. They'll be ready at every
unfortunately. He's giving himself up.
He is putting his hands up in the air. He understands that time is up, and this pursuit is now over. He steps out of the vehicle, stepping away from that Toyota with his hands up in the air, clearly visible as the suspect cooperates with those LAPD units. They will now treat this very carefully as they place him under arrest after a lengthy pursuit, both high speed and low speed. This pursuit has had it all, and it looks like he is showing.
Yeah, it did. It was a fun one.
Making it clear that he does not have a weapon in his waistband, throwing off his baseball cap, and now giving up about as peacefully as you could possibly expect. They will approach him here momentarily, or they will ask him to walk backwards. We'll see which they choose here, but that vehicle appears to be empty. The suspect now appears to be cooperating. We are looking at it long from several miles away. That explains the shaky shot here, but you can see there are people in their backyards trying to catch a glimpse of what's going on, either watching it on their phones or hearing about it on the radio, and now trying to see what all the commotion's about here, and that is really the worst nightmare for law enforcement. Look at them approaching the vehicle. They're making sure the vehicle is clear, even with the suspect as he is now on his knees. They now make sure that he was the only one inside that vehicle, and now approaching him with an arrest team with his hands on his head, handcuffs being placed on the suspect, and this pursuit is officially over.
Wow.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, after about an hour and a half long pursuit, right?
And a peaceful ending
Yes.
at that, which is great. They handled this perfectly.
Yeah, we always like to see things end peacefully, no one hurt. So that is good news there, this pursuit again, that for a murder suspect who's now being taken into custody after an hour and a half. We do want to move on to some other news that we've been following today. Right now, reaction tonight with Disney ABC taking late night host.
That's exactly my top story tonight. This is cool on them. This is ABC 7 in Los Angeles. We watch them a lot. We watch their reporting a lot. I think they do a really good job. That's Mark Brown. That is Chris Christie, our helicopter reporter. I think they do an amazing job, and good on them for tackling. They're an ABC station. What happened was that Nexstar, a really conservative local, they're a conglomerate that owns a bunch of local TV stations. By local, we mean like ABC affiliates. A chunk of the Nexstar stations that they own are ABC affiliates. They're affiliated with the ABC network. They get their programming. What that means is they pay one flat fee. They're required to show ABC's primetime programming. They're required to show, whatever the morning show Good Morning America is. They're required to show blah, 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 blah. But then they get their own slots throughout the day where they can show syndicated programming. They do their own local news. That's how a syndication works. So many of these Nexstar stations are ABC affiliates. These Nexstar stations threatened to not show Jimmy Kimmel until, they're like Sinclair, they're like Tegra, and Nexstar is trying to buy, or Tinga, or whatever the fuck it's called. They are trying to. I worked for one called Heartland. It got bought by the Calkins, or fuck, I don't even know how it worked. But the local Nexstar, because this is just all bigger companies keep buying up these local stations. That's why your local TV keeps sucking more and more. The Nexstar stations threatened to, which is a conservative company, it's a conservative media company, threatened to not show Jimmy Kimmel until Disney, the main company, pulled him off the air. And that is what has happened now. And that's what we're going to go to. The FCC chair. Has anybody not seen the Kimmel comments? Let's start with that, I guess. Just to make sure that everyone is aware that Jimmy Kimmel did not say anything that should get you fired. In any way, shape, or form, Jimmy Kimmel should not have been fired. There is absolutely no justification for it whatsoever. I just typed in Kimmel. You would think that would be the first thing to come up, but it's actually, okay, there we go. What he said is so innocuous, it's not even funny. Warlord, welcome in, my friend. Good evening. We're going to be showing The Daily Show. Jon Stewart apparently, I didn't even know they were off this week, but Jon Stewart is apparently going to be hosting the show tonight, responding to Jimmy Kimmel being canceled. We're going to take it live on Kick at 11 p.m. Eastern. That's in about 2 hours and 13 minutes. This is what Jimmy Kimmel said that got him canceled.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction.
That's a great joke.
Grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Fantastic joke. Jimmy Kimmel did not deserve to be fired for that joke. Well, let's see how the right wing reacted to it. The free speech warriors, the anti-cancel culture. Let's see how they reacted to. By the way, including a no on this orgy couch, including the man who said you should murder homeless people.
ABC News pulling Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely over the late-night host comments on the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
That's right. Ty Pyro joins us with the latest on that. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning to all three of you. The shakeup comes as Jimmy Kimmel continued to reference Charlie Kirk and the alleged gunman this week during his late-night monologues. It all started with him calling out President Trump just a day after the assassination. Watch.
With all these terrible things happening, you would think that our president will at least make an attempt to bring us together, but he didn't. He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
After the comedian's contentious remarks about the president on September 11th and then the MAGA base on September 15th, as you heard, Kimmel continued again on Tuesday, stating, quote, many in MAGA land are working very hard to capitalize on the murder of Charlie Kirk. The FCC.
It's true.
There would be action taken against his comments, and then ABC pulled him off the air indefinitely shortly thereafter. Just before ABC's announcement, the president of one of the country's largest TV stations said it would stop airing Kimmel's show, calling the host's comments offensive and insensitive, and that they don't represent the values of the communities in which we are located. They're going to replace programming in its ABC-affiliated market.
Oh, Flo, I think you misread that. Kilmeade should keep his mouth shut on this segment. Kilmeade was calling for homeless people to be executed. Everything that Jimmy Kimmel said was true. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, we're at a dark moment in America where the government can dictate who can be on the air or not.
Now to the firestorm over Jimmy Kimmel's comments about Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. ABC, owned by Disney, has now taken Kimmel off the air indefinitely. The fallout even includes
no problem, it happens.
The network from the FCC.
Kimmel, Kilmeade, very close.
Chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, has issued a threat against ABC and Disney, suggesting he would take action over comments made by late-night host Jimmy Kimmel about the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin. The threat coming just hours before ABC announced it's taking Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely amid the controversy. A spokesperson saying, quote, Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely, but declined to share further details. On Monday, Kimmel accused conservatives of reaching, quote, new lows in trying to pin a left-wing ideology on Kirk's accused assassin, Tyler Robinson. Kimmel saying the MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize Robinson as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr calling Kimmel's comments, quote, some of the sickest conduct, while also suggesting there are potential avenues the FCC could pursue.
They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Now, Sinclair issuing a response Wednesday night saying, quote, Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment for our country. We believe broadcasters have a responsibility to educate and elevate respectful, constructive dialogue in our communities. Sinclair also issuing this statement on X due to problematic comments regarding the murder of Charlie Kirk in programming provided to broadcast stations by ABC. Sinclair and its partners, which operate ABC stations in 30 markets in the U.S., will stop airing Jimmy Kimmel's show until further notice. Reaction to Kimmel being taken off the air now pouring into social media as well, including from President Trump. Take a look here. Trump writing in part on Truth Social, quote, congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. The president also calling on NBC to get rid of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon and Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Wow.
From Washington, I'm Jeff Harris.
A lot of others are reacting as well after Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the.
Does Saturday Night Live air? It's coming up, in like 2 weeks. Saturday Night Live's new season takes air. Like, do they air? South Park, I don't know that this media environment, because we're going to talk about this here in a second. This has a lot to do with another merger that has to be approved by our government. The company that just merged with CBS, Skydance, they're trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. They would own so many fucking television channels now. But does that have something to do with why South Park didn't air last night?
Air, including New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Obviously, this is a very concerning violation of free speech. I'm appalled that the Trump administration is censoring speech from people it disagrees with.
Meantime, Turning Point USA has named Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, as its new CEO.
Well, of fucking course they did.
The conservative nonprofit says it is fulfilling a wish Kirk had expressed to multiple executives.
She's not likable.
His death.
She's not likable, so we shouldn't be very worried about that. Charlie, kind of likable. A $6.2 billion deal looms over Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. Jimmy Kimmel's show was suspended by ABC following criticism by FCC Chair Brendan Carr. The two biggest local TV operators also came out swinging against Kimmel before his show was pulled. The companies are both pursuing or considering M&A deals, that mergers and acquisition deals, that would require FCC approval. Jimmy Kimmel is off the air, and his show's abrupt suspension has put a spotlight on the fraught politics of the broadcast TV business and the billions of dollars at stake. The late-night host show was pulled from ABC on Wednesday after Kimmel made comments about Charlie Kirk's death. The comments have drawn the ire of Federal Communications Commissioner Chair Brendan Carr, who said in an interview earlier in the day that the FCC might need to place broadcast licensees under review to ensure stations were operating in the public interest. Carr's comments were bad news for local TV operators who own ABC affiliate stations. These affiliate stations carry ABC programming under contract but aren't owned by the network itself. The two biggest local TV operators, Nexstar Media Group and Sinclair, both came out swinging against Kimmel, pressuring ABC to pull the plug on Jimmy Kimmel Live. The company said they would remove his show from their stations because they objected to Kimmel's comments. Sinclair's vice chairman, Jason Smith, called Kimmel's words inappropriate and deeply insensitive, while Nexstar's broadcasting division president, Andrew Alford, said they were offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. Nexstar's chief communications officer, Gary Wattman, said the decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live was made unilaterally by the senior executive team at Nexstar, and they had no communication with the FCC or any government agency prior to making that decision. Nexstar and Sinclair operate ABC affiliate stations in many markets, including areas that lean conservative like Lubbock, Texas, Chattanooga, Tennessee, where audiences may have reacted negatively to Kimmel's comments. The companies also have business reasons to keep Carr and the FCC happy. In August, Nexstar announced it wanted to buy Tegna, another local TV operator, for $6.2 billion in a deal that would require FCC approval. The same month, Sinclair said it was reviewing its business and considering acquisitions, strategic partnerships, and business combinations, which would also be subject to FCC review. Nexstar's deal with Tegna isn't straightforward, but by buying Tegna, it would likely increase its local TV ownership to more than 39% of U.S. households, which is prohibited by law. There are some nuances in how the FCC calculates ownership share, including the type of spectrum that a local TV station uses to air its shows. But ultimately, for the deal to proceed, the companies would likely need an FCC waiver or an increase in the national ownership cap, which would require a rule change. The FCC has recently issued a notice of inquiry, and they have solicited comments to refresh the record because they are certainly looking for ways to accommodate these mega mergers. So, and this is my business. I have worked in radio and television my entire life up until the last few years when it became completely unbearable and I became an independent contractor, and I still do some work for TV stations, radio stations. It's funny they didn't want to pay me to do the shit that they will now, buy a contractor and pay way more for it than not, having me in-house. It's insanity, but that's the way media operates. I hate these mergers. I hate the consolidation of media. It is a shame. Several people speaking out on Jimmy Kimmel's behalf. My personal idol, not staying silent here, is David Letterman.
Tell us what you think about what happened last night to Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, this is misery. And in the world of somebody who is an authoritarian, maybe a dictatorship, sooner or later everyone is going to be touched. But this is me.
A comedian is using stronger language than the politicians fighting against the fascism. This guy is old school.
Tell us what you think about what happened last night to Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, this is misery. And in the world of somebody who is an authoritarian, maybe a dictatorship, sooner or later everyone is going to be touched. But this is me. For 30 years, I did this for a living. So I see this happen. They took care of Colbert. That was rude. That was inexcusable. The man deserves a great deal of credit. He's in the Hall of Fame 9 times. And to be manipulated like that because the Ellison family didn't want to trouble Donald Trump with this move, so they got rid of him. Not only got rid of him, got rid of the whole franchise. You're not going to have to worry about anything, Larry. It's all gone. It's fine. Good night. And then my good friend Jimmy Kimmel. I feel bad about this because we all see where this is going, correct? It's managed media, and it's no good. It's silly. It's ridiculous, and you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works.
I don't know that Sirius will, Media Winch. They are getting rid of Howard Stern, and there could be some of this media chilling effect also having to do with it. But we don't know. We don't know about Stern. Things are kind of up in the air about it. Let's see what okay, if you have lost Jay Leno, then you've definitely lost the common man, right?
I'm on Jimmy Kimmel's side on that one.
So they lost Jay Leno.
Have you heard anything? Do you know?
No, I haven't heard anything. I know why people would contact me, but no, I haven't heard anything.
What's the playing field change, Jay?
What's that?
What's the playing field change?
Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? So we'll see. We'll see.
Could you have ever imagined something like this happening when you were on the air?
Yeah, these kind of things happen all the time. But, you don't get canceled saying popular things. You get canceled, sometimes, usually it's the truth that winds up getting canceled. So we'll see what happens.
Is there a question, Jay? Was it a question literally of business, of ratings, or do you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to talk. I wasn't there. Wasn't in the room. I don't know. I think Jimmy will land on his feet. He's a talented guy. He's funny. And let's see what happens.
Jimmy and Colbert will both be fine.
I think realistically, this may open up some discussion in Congress and some serious questions about what First Amendment and everything else.
They're not the victim. Speech is the victim.
Talking. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Right now, Howard says he's still in talks. They had he was scheduled to come back like 2 or 3 weeks ago and didn't, and now he is back. And he says they're still in talks. But there was speculation that it had something to do with them not wanting Howard on the air.
I mean, it doesn't seem...
That's the market.
Well, that's the market. I mean, let the people decide. If people like a show, it stays on the air. I mean, that's as simple as that. I mean, I enjoy Jimmy. I like all the guys. I think they're really talented. I like jokes. That's why I watch them.
Is the future of comedy okay?
What's that?
Is the future of comedy in good hands?
Yeah, it'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Do you think it's a worrisome sign-off?
Huh?
Do you think it's a worrisome sign-off what happened yesterday for the future?
It remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's our country.
We'll see
The
what
entertainment is just a symptom.
It's like terrorists. One day they're on, one day they're off. One day they're on, one day they're off. So you don't know. But thanks, you guys.
Jay, have you?
Oh, I gotta go.
One last question with NBC, Joe.
Yeah.
Is right now doing comedy and satire, is it?
You pay it because that's what free speech is about. So.
One more question.
Yeah.
If you were on the air right now, Jay, how would you address everything that's going on right now?
I don't know. I'm not on the air. Well, I'm on the air right now, and I'm addressing you. There you go. So, free speech. You know, Patrick Henry said it best: "Give me liberty or give me death." That was the first go around with this argument. What's going on for 200 years, and in a free society, it'll go on for another 200. So, see what happens.
In a free society, you say?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Jimmy being seen for the first time since his, I don't know to call it a firing, suspension, hiatus, pulled off the air indefinitely is what has happened, I guess.
This is the first video of Jimmy since the announcement that rocked late night. Kimmel spotted in a parking garage while his sidekick Guillermo was photographed outside the Jimmy Kimmel studios. Wednesday's episode canceled. The show preempted indefinitely. ABC made the decision after Kimmel made these comments Monday about conservative activist Charlie Kirk's alleged killer.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
That set off a firestorm of criticism. ABC's own GMA covered the story this way.
Breaking news involving our parent company Disney and ABC, which pulled Jimmy Kimmel from the air overnight, hours after a threat to the network from the head of the Federal Communications Commission appointed by President Trump.
Wanda Sykes, who is set to appear on Wednesday's show, led the star reaction.
Hey, for those of you who pray, now's the time to do it. Love you, Jimmy.
He and Molly,
prayer is not going to do anything.
Breaks for them. They put in a lot of good hard work on that show, as do all the people that work on it.
It's not an ending, it's a new beginning. You just create 1,000 other voices. So, and hey, better you than me, Jimmy.
President Trump himself praised the decision, as did conservative allies Roseanne Barr, who said, "I'm available to fill in," and Barstool Sports owner Dave Portnoy.
Oh, I bet she is.
Cancel culture, anything you say that creates giant headaches for your boss can end up in career repercussions.
Jimmy had just addressed his long-running feud with the president just days ago at the Creative Arts Emmys.
I don't necessarily feel like I'm defending democracy, but I do feel like I'm giving this guy a little poke, and he deserves it, and I enjoy it.
When President Trump was just candidate Trump the first time, he and Kimmel had a very different relationship. He talked to Extra about it.
Well, I'm not actually interviewing him. We're doing a comedy bit with him, so I won't get to ask him anything on stage, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be great. Who's this guy?
George Clooney.
George Clooney, no, guys.
Months later, the future president even joked with us about Jimmy joining the ticket.
I know you are sort of in the hot.
Yes, I would like.
So now looking back on this, so all of them had him on before 2016. He was host on SNL. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? I had no problem having him on at the time, but now did they legitimize him? What do you guys think? Should Kimmel not have had him on? Colbert, Jimmy Fallon rough up his hair, all that good shit that happened?
To be considered, yes.
We had a lot of fun. I tell you, the show was great.
So what happens next?
We don't know if or when Jimmy Kimmel Live is coming back.
We spoke with CNN correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister.
I am told from my sources that nobody knows what is going to happen next. I do hear that Disney is hopeful. They want to continue the show. They love Jimmy. So they are hoping that they can find a path forward.
ABC's decision comes just weeks after CBS announced it was canceling Colbert next year.
Torgy, welcome in.
Insisted it was for financial reasons. Kimmel and the rest of the Emmy crowd gave Steven a standing O after he won Outstanding Talk Series Sunday night.
The future of late night TV is looking pretty bleak right now. Is the juice worth the squeeze? If you are going to have a late night comedian who is creating chaos for your company, and you are going to have the president of the United States constantly commenting on it, if it's not bringing in that much money, or if it's even losing money, do you continue to do it?
Well, it's like NBC said when they were asked about the Tonight Show. It's not necessarily about the fact that they're losing money, because they gain in other ways, and synergy, and being able to cross promote, in having the brand, the Tonight Show, alive. The brand is worth a hell of a lot. Apparently, as you heard mentioned, I think that was Access Hollywood. ABC wants Kimmel back. They like him.
Images just in of Jimmy Kimmel less than 24 hours after his show was suddenly pulled from ABC after a threat from Trump's administration. And tonight, Trump...
I don't like standing blowjobs. I get a little wobbly
now threatening more networks.
They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It will be up to Brendan.
I'm sorry. Did they say mean things about the dear leader?
In a moment from another FCC commissioner who serves.
Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you to the U.S. government. You can suck my fucking balls. Eat my ass. This country was founded on freedom and free speech, and me to be able to tell Donald Trump to suck my fucking cock. I'm sorry, I wouldn't even let you suck my cock, sir. Your mouth is not worthy to be on my pretty cock. But Donald Trump can go get fucked by somebody else. Satan. Whatever. Put me in alligator Alcatraz, you fucking fascists. I'm sure John Oliver will have a whole show dedicated to it on Sunday. I wouldn't doubt that South Park was going to push all the right buttons, and that we're going to find out eventually that when they didn't make deadline last time, they told us it was because of a power failure. This time they're like, oops, guys, we didn't make it. We're sorry. But yet they had 2 weeks. They had 2 weeks and not 1 week. Kaya.
You live in sexual anarchy?
I wonder if I still have the project files for that. If I could go put a hole in his neck.
With Carr. She says the FCC doesn't have the authority to do this, but the harsh reality tonight is that they didn't actually even need the authority to get Trump what he wanted, silencing comedian Jimmy Kimmel. If you are surprised at what has happened, maybe it is because you took the president, the vice president, and the chairman of the FCC at their word when Trump came into office.
Well, I didn't take him at their word.
If you don't have free speech, you don't have a country.
Thank God we have a president now who believes in free speech.
Free speech, diversity of opinion, those are the bedrocks of democracy.
That last person to speak, of course, was Brendan Carr, the very same man who made this threat this week after Kimmel's comments regarding Charlie Kirk.
They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Threats obviously don't get more clear than that. And that threat is a real about face from a man, Brendan Carr, who in December of 2023 wrote, and I want to quote him, "Free speech is the counterweight. It is the check on government control. That is why censorship is the authoritarian's dream." Okay, so then what sparked Carr's sudden threat against ABC over Kimmel? It was this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying
Once again,
to characterize
good joke.
this
Good
kid
joke.
who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
I would love to host one of their shows. I already made my plea for The Late Show. And especially, The Late Show would mean the most to me. The Tonight Show, fuck, that's an institution. But The Late Show's the one I watched. I was a David Letterman fan.
It's from it.
So that's what it was. From what Carr was saying, that's what it was that Kimmel said that was worth a threat to ABC, get rid of Kimmel or else. And sure, free speech is free speech. This is America. But Kimmel's words aren't some hate-filled diatribe. They're frankly not even this.
Now you go.
Light one up, tip one back.
The kill shot with an ambush, deadly, because he doesn't see it coming. This is when you say, Dr. Fauci, you funded risky research at a sloppy Chinese lab, the same lab that sprung this pandemic on the world. You know why people don't trust you, don't you? Boom! He is dead! He is dead! He's done!
That was Fox's Jesse Waters in December 2021, trying to be funny. A month later, Waters got promoted. And after the brutal attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, in which he was attacked by a man with a hammer, Pelosi's skull was fractured, he was in the hospital. There was a lot of really ugly rhetoric.
I didn't know. Apparently, he hasn't recovered. He's not in good shape and may basically be brain damaged the rest of his life. So, hey, good job, MAGAs.
And conspiracy theories coming from the right at the time.
At 82 years old, and comes home to find out that her husband's playing hide the hammer with a Black Lives Matter guy?
Well, of course we can't confirm or deny your suggestion.
It's MAGA extremists behind this because they always attract illegal alien nudists who live in school buses who think they're Jesus Christ. Hell.
And there was also Don Jr. He posted this image after Pelosi was attacked. Got my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume ready, right? And you see the link there to the sexual jokes that you heard before. And Elon Musk, 2 days after he bought Twitter, posted a conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi. There is a tiny possibility there might be more to this story than meets the eye. He linked to an article that claimed the attack was the result of a drunken sexual encounter with a male prostitute. Now, of course, none of this was based in fact. The government, though, didn't try to get people fired because, after all, free speech, tasteless, gross, crass, awful. So what? Free speech.
Yes,
so
yes.
What is this silencing Kimmel?
And I am tired of hearing right-wingers be like, well, this is the left's doing. The left did this to us. It was the left's cancel culture. I even had one say, well, this started with the left's cancel culture with Gamergate. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Gamergate was right-wingers trying to get a feminist game writer fired. It's always right-wing cancel culture. Always right-wing cancel culture. Right-wingers are fucking fascists.
Because it's not about that one thing he said this week. It's not. I mean, after CBS announced it was canceling Stephen Colbert's show, Trump predicted Kimmel would be next. Quite simply, Trump has been a bit obsessed with Kimmel.
Kimmel has no talent.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel's a loser.
I saw Jimmy Kimmel said that his show's practically dead because nobody that likes Trump will watch.
Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, that guy's terrible.
Those clips of Trump go back 7 years. And tonight, Trump, using the power of the office of the President of the United States, finally got what he wanted. And I want to start with Elizabeth Wagmeister in Los Angeles. She has been breaking so much news on this story. And Elizabeth, what is the latest you're learning tonight?
Hey, Aaron. So I am hearing really how this went down at Disney and ABC. And, you know, everyone that I am talking to in Hollywood is really just horrified over this entire
T-minus, welcome in, my
They
friend.
cannot believe that Jimmy Kimmel has been pulled off the air. But what I am hearing is that ABC is very hopeful. They really want to figure out a path forward. They love Jimmy. They want
It ain't gonna stop. You got to stand up to the bully.
threats from the FCC. This is a real threat to have stations that are pulling Jimmy's show across the country. They just felt like they had no choice, that in order to protect both Jimmy and the ABC brands, that they felt the best path forward was to preempt the show indefinitely. Now, I am hearing that the decision ultimately was made by Bob Iger and Dana Walden. I hear that Dana Walden has a great relationship that goes way back with Jimmy Kimmel. She was the one who made that call to him. Now, after Jimmy's comments on Monday and Tuesday during his show were getting heat from the right, that is when this got onto Disney.
For fucking what?
It was when Brendan Carr started to make those remarks and making threats against ABC. And it is when Nexstar started to say, we are refusing to air the show, that this really escalated and became a major issue. One source explained to me that this is much bigger than just Jimmy Kimmel's show, that this is about all of ABC and really protecting all of ABC and all of its employees. Now, I do want to note, Aaron, you said that this is not just about those comments, and that is what I am hearing. In fact, I will finish on this final point. Trump took to his Truth Social today, and I believe we have that post, and he actually went all the way back to the Oscars from 2 years ago when Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about him on stage, and Trump seized on that. So this is a long-standing history of jabs and a public feud between Trump and Jimmy Kimmel. Everyone that I'm talking to in Hollywood said it's not just about the comments this week, it's about years and years of insults. Aaron?
Elizabeth, thank you so much.
I know he's just suspended.
Commissioner Anna Gomez and Commissioner,
or I mean, probably getting paid still. The entire staff's going to get paid.
He
They're just pulled indefinitely. He didn't do anything wrong.
Broadcast over the air could be pulled and revoked if they air mostly negative coverage of him. So if he comes out and says 5 untrue things and they call out 3 of them, then that's on them. I mean, it's unclear exactly what he's saying, but he did say it will be up to Brendan Carr, obviously chairman of the FCC. Is this something the FCC could actually do?
Well, first of all, we don't license the networks. We license local broadcasters. So there is no license to pull for the networks. The local broadcasters get some programming from the networks. But second of all, we are governed by the First Amendment and by the Communications Act, which prohibits us from censoring broadcasters. So no, we cannot pull local broadcasters' licenses simply because they air content that he does not like.
Okay, so then I guess the question is, where do we go from here? I mean, have you spoken with Carr since last night?
I've been in New York today, as you know. The thing that we need to understand
is FCC Commissioner Anna Gomez.
The FCC cannot. It does not have the authority. It does not have the ability. It does not have the constitutional right to take action against broadcasters because the administration doesn't like what they're saying, because they don't like anyone that pushes back against them. So what you see are just threats, but the threats are the point.
And the threat, in this case, the threats worked, right? Do it the easy way or the hard way, or, you know, I guess the sensible threat is we're not going to approve your merger at the FCC.
That's exactly the point. Because we don't have the authority to do this, because it's against the law, we would not be able to actually take that final action. Because on appeal, the FCC would be wrong on the facts and the law if, in fact, it retaliated against the networks, or, I mean, the broadcasters, the local licensees, because of what they air. So the threats are the point, and the capitulation is so disappointing, because what we are doing is eroding little by little the freedom of the press, the freedom of speech, on which our democracy relies. We need the fourth estate to push back against the likes of me, to hold me and the government to account.
Yeah. and ended abruptly there. So as I said, following the Troll Patrol on Kick and D-Live, we're going to watch The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart to host Daily Show in rare midweek appearance a day after Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. Stewart plans to host Thursday's episode of The Daily Show one day after ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel's late-night show indefinitely, following comments he made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Stewart's featured guest will be Maria Ressa, the journalist and author of How to Stand Up to a Dictator. Ressa also shared the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize for her fight for freedom of expression in her home country, the Philippines. Oh, I know who that is. Stewart normally only hosts on Mondays. The Emmy winner helmed The Daily Show from 1999 to 2015, delivering sharp, satirical takes on politics and current events. Kimmel made several remarks about the reaction to Kirk's killing on Jimmy Kimmel Live on Monday and Tuesday nights, including that many in MAGA land are working very hard to capitalize on the murder of Charlie Kirk, which is 100% true. And Myers is probably going to have a pretty poignant take. Or I guess he's had a show since then, but then again, he might have already taped by the time the news came out yesterday, so tonight might be his first time to address it. But I would assume Seth Meyers gets pretty political. But Jimmy Fallon, he's just not a politics guy, so you can't expect that from him. I would assume Leno was more forceful than I thought he would be, so good on Leno. He was no David Letterman being like, hey, you can't give in to a dictator. Letterman was unabashed about it. What do you want to do next? Do you want to... Oh, God. I guess as long as we're talking about Trump going after people, we watched the Nancy Mace fiasco against Ilhan Omar last night. Trump has now weighed in on it and says that Ilhan Omar needs to be impeached.
I think she should be impeached. I think she's terrible. Is she originally from Somalia? So how are they doing this? How's their government? Do they have a president? Do they have a council? Do they have anything? Do they have police? I love these people that come from a place with nothing, no anything, and then they tell us how to run our country. No, I think if she got censured, that's great. If she got impeached, that's even better. They impeached me twice for nothing. And they impeached me knowing the Republicans are on my side, so they knew it was just that they impeached.
Wow.
She should be impeached, and it should happen fast. What she says is out of line. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody else?
Mr. President, who would you like to see? Mr. President, are you going to ask Brendan Carr to weigh in on other late-night hosts that you have said should be off the air?
Late-night host is on network television. There is a licensing. I'll give you an example. I read someplace that the networks were 97% against me. I got 97% negative, and yet I won it easily. I won all 7 swing states, popular, I won everything. And if they're 97% against, they give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It will be up to Brendan Carr. I think Brendan Carr is outstanding. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. So we'll have to see.
Free speech issue.
When you think about this, 97% of the stories are opposed to me, and yet I win easily the election. It's pretty amazing when you think of it. That shows they have no credibility.
He didn't win easily the election.
I was going to agree with. I mean, could you use that same logic with news? If someone's...
In the old days, I remember in the old days that every 4 or 5 years, a network would reapply for its license. And the license is free. You know, they get this valuable thing for free.
Oh my God. UK officials, he was speaking on his way back to the United States from his state visit in the UK. We watched a lot of the pomp and pageantry last night as he made his landing, and then they did the toast during the dinner. They, quote, made him feel special like he's a little kindergartner.
They basically feel that the relationship economically and politically is more important than whoever is actually in the White House. Let's bring in Avis Jones-DeWeaver. She's a U.S. political social commentator. Avis, good to see you as always. Your take on this visit. I know there has been some criticism that the British have basically groveled before the feet of President Trump.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, they understand the game that needs to be played. This is someone who has an ego the size of this planet. And so for them to be able to have discussions with him that might move the needle in the direction to their benefit, they understand that they first have to stroke his ego and make him feel special, like he's a little kindergartner. But ultimately, what they're really concerned about to me is what you just discussed. I mean, the war is still going on with Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. And Europe as a whole is in danger because of what's happening there. And so with Trump's hesitancy to really be a firm proponent of NATO, and with all of his seemingly sort of love affair from afar and maybe even from near with Putin, they are pretty concerned about what may happen in the future. So they'll have to put on this pomp and circumstance in order to perhaps have some very serious discussions behind the scenes that they possibly believe may better strengthen their ability to interact safely throughout the European continent.
Well, the Trump card, so to speak, that the British have, which no other country has, Canada certainly doesn't, is the royal family. And I know that Donald Trump was a big fan of Queen Elizabeth. He's a big fan of King Charles. We're just showing, Avis, as you and I are talking, Marine One coming down for a landing, and the president will then make his way to Air Force One to fly back to the States. And that relationship between Donald Trump and the royal family is, you know, really the magic formula here for the British, isn't it?
It certainly is. I mean, that's no pun intended. That's their trump card, right? So they can pull that out of the hat because let's just be very frank here. They are living Trump's wildest dreams. I believe it is his fantasy that he is not the president of America. He is the king of America. I believe it's his fantasy that his children will be the heirs to the throne, so to speak. And so he is loving every minute of it because in his little, Trump brain, he's probably thinking, wow, I would love to be able to mimic this in some
little Trump brain.
And given everything that we've
smaller
seen
than his little Trump hands,
on many fronts looks to be, honestly, the demise and the deterioration of democracy. He is really trying to figure out how can he create a similar reality for himself and his family right now.
So a successful visit, and for the British anyway, and I would imagine that Donald Trump will tout the visit in which he was extremely well treated, and the British lavished all sorts of different ceremonies, military parades, the Air Force, soldiers, you name it, on him.
Absolutely. I mean, he loves all that. So he loves the whole pomp and circumstance. He loves the red carpet. He loves to be hobnobbing with the royal family. That is the part that really keeps him enthralled. And I truly believe strategically, if they can, on the one hand, butter him up with all of the pomp and circumstance, but on the other hand, have him have very serious talks with the prime minister, it is their hope that perhaps the prime minister may be a bit more more successful in any serious discussions that he has with him after having such a wonderful sort of reception. And as you mentioned, unprecedented experience with having a second state visit by a United States president. I believe that they are strategically thinking this is what we need to do to potentially get him to commit more wholeheartedly to the defense of all of Europe if this Ukrainian war not only fails to end, but through some means begins to get out of hand and to encroach upon other NATO nations.
Any advice quickly for us in Canada to navigate the relationship? Because we don't have a king who lives here in Canada, of course.
You know what? I'm very impressed with the way that your prime minister has very, very expertly been able to communicate in a way that shows firm strength, but also understands this.
I cover politics and I ain't fucking heard shit from Carney since he got elected. That seems to be the way he's navigated it, is to lay low. What you guys think? You got any Canucks in the chat?
Sort of ability to need to, in essence, almost feel like you're trying to amuse a child.
And yeah, they do have a king.
They're going in the right direction.
They actually answered to the king.
Weaver with her take, political, social commentator in the U.S. Always good to see you, Avis. Thanks for this today.
Wonderful to see you too.
The king's on their money, isn't he? Or the queen was? I don't fucking know. I don't know how that shit works. It bothers me not. So Trump was on his way back. Apparently, Marine One had to make an emergency landing. Oh yeah, it's performative in Britain.
But this is something that we wanted to give you an update on. Marine One has since made an emergency landing after a hydraulic issue. I want to put this up on the screen. This is a tweet that we have there from Fox News speaking about it. They called it, quote, a minor hydraulic issue. The White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that President Trump and the First Lady were forced to switch helicopters after Marine One experienced an issue during Trump's UK visit. Of course, we do know that during that time, President Trump has met with several other leaders, but they did say there via Caroline Leavitt that out of an abundance of caution, the pilots landed at a local airfield before reaching.
That is not the only air mishap that they had. Fucking DJ Dub, check this one out. A Spirit Airlines pilot flew too close to Air Force One.
Right here from late Tuesday as President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump arrived there in the UK. But we are learning.
That's what I'm assuming. Big cargo plane.
Sorts as Air Force One flew over Long Island, New York at the start of this trip. Bloomberg reports the pilot of a Spirit Airlines flight was repeatedly warned by air traffic control that the passenger jet was rapidly approaching the president's plane altitude and the flight path. This is a post right here coming in from the New York Post. Now, in the flight audio obtained by Bloomberg and other outlets...
I was about to say, do you have the audio? Because I got it somewhere.
Pay attention, followed by the same command 3 times of Spirit 1300, turn 20 degrees right. Frustrated, the air traffic controller says, quote, pay attention, get off the iPad. Bloomberg reporting that Air Force One was never in extreme danger by any means. Now, a spokesperson for Spirit telling Fox News Digital that the flight traveling from Fort Lauderdale to Boston, quote, landed uneventfully. Matthew Wiz Buckley is a Navy Top Gun fighter pilot, a former American Airlines pilot, and the founder of No Fallen Heroes. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us to discuss all of this.
You got it, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And first,
always a book plug.
You based on your expertise.
Darn again. Mikey's one of the ones leaving, isn't he? I didn't want to see him leave. Or had he already left? I just didn't know it. Let's go to New York, where Brad Lander, this is the second time Lander has been arrested. Among other city officials, arrested at an immigration facility demanding to
knocking and requesting
inspect the conditions.
as government officials to review the conditions.
You're making it dangerous for yourself and everyone else.
What if there's a fire?
What if there's a fire?
There's a federal judge
kidding me?
They're
taping the door shut.
Huge fire hazard.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Immigrants are welcome here. Gone on far too long, and it's gone on far too long. We want justice for our neighbors.
If you refuse to leave on the federal regulation,
I'm here
you're going to be
for my
arrested.
fellow neighbors who have been kidnapped off the streets, being led by a fascist president.
Nos regresamos. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Y si nos echan, nos regresamos. Aquí estamos.
We see Lander being handcuffed.
Back up! Run! If you impede, you will be under arrest! Back up!
Not the only arrests made. They arrested protesters in New York outside of the facility.
Hi, I'm Assemblymember Robert Carroll. I'm standing in front of 26 Federal Plaza, getting ready to go into immigration court to observe the court to make sure that immigrant New Yorkers' rights are being protected.
I guess as long as we're on the subject of New York, I've lost it. Where is it at? I got too many. God damn it. I got a gazillion tabs open. I can't find the one. Man has been arrested indicted over a series of violent threats towards Zohran Mamdani.
Election day here in
coming for our boy.
Poll shows Zohran Mamdani with a commanding lead in the race for mayor. News 4's Melissa Russo is here. And Melissa, help us.
Polls show that if everybody but Cuomo dropped out, Mamdani would still win by a landslide. It's amazing.
Break down the numbers. What did we learn here?
Well, Adam, the poll shows what a lot of other recent polls have said. Mamdani holding on to a comfortable lead.
This is the right story, right?
Race, and still a 10-point lead over.
My God. Authorities have arrested a Texas man for allegedly making phone and written threats to New York City mayoral candidate and state assemblyman Zohran Mamdani, warning the self-described Democratic Socialist to return to Uganda before someone shoots him in the head. This is according to the Queens District Attorney on Thursday. Jeremy Fistel was arraigned on a 22-count grand jury indictment, charging him with making a terroristic threat as a hate crime, aggravated harassment, and related charges in the case. Prosecutors allege he started sending the messages to Mamdani's office in June and continued to do so through July. According to the charges, Fistel allegedly left an anti-Muslim message June 18th, saying Mamdani was not welcome in New York and warning him to watch his back and his family's backs. He called him a terrorist. A few weeks later, only July 8th, I think that means on July 8th, Fistel allegedly sent a message through Mamdani's website wishing him terminal cancer and imminent painful death. I'd love to see an IDF bullet go through your skull, the message read. According to court documents, would be even better if you had to watch your wife and kids murdered in front of you before they end your pathetic, miserable life. I hope you all die painful, sudden deaths. Do us all a favor and kill yourself. Probably shouldn't have read all that. God damn it. Oh, wrong kick. Never mind. Never mind. It's all good. I don't think YouTube gives a shit anymore either. I don't have free speech, apparently. Trump pardoned rapists and pedophiles. Republicans call it law and order. Here is Jasmine Crockett.
Starting with the AG, I want you to tell me whether or not it's lawful or lawless ignoring court orders.
That's lawless.
Impounding congressional funds.
Violates the law.
Invoking emergency powers when there is no emergency.
Unlawful.
Sending troops without an invite.
Violates the law.
Covering for pedophiles. I just threw that one in there. Okay, I'll move to the next one. What about revoking birthright citizenship?
Violates the 14th Amendment of the Constitution.
How about violating due process?
Violates the 5th and 14th Amendment of the Constitution.
I would love to do that.
What we
I
see
need to get in a
happening
position where I can pay you to be able to do
in
that.
some way minimize, if not delete, the voices of people of color as they
I need to do it sooner than later.
going through this process. Is there a constitutional amendment that you can think of that is associated with that?
Probably many, but it is
Okay.
unlawful and unconstitutional and un-American.
Thank you. As well as, can you tell me if it is lawful or lawless to violate free speech?
That's lawless.
I mean, you can have mommies that aren't GOP
Conversation
mommies.
about Jimmy Kimmel, so I'm gonna say free Jimmy Kimmel for sure, and hopefully we will deal with the FCC.
Well, we need to do it before anything happened to me to make sure that it's
that long list, and that
you know,
was
everybody
actually
knows it's
not
there
even
and
the half
shit.
of it is because since this administration has come in on January 20th, they have engaged in some form of every single thing that I said on that list, even the part about covering for pedophiles.
Yeah, I need to get big enough to where the stream can be its own
Number
thing.
one, they already passed
I can
the
never be
roulette
taken
laws,
down.
and it's clear that even the bill author
You go
informed
JustinFREAKIN.com.
about what his bill does, because as has already been stated, at the age of 18, you are an adult. So this idea that somehow 21-year-olds were now somehow juveniles under DC law, is that accurate or inaccurate?
It was inaccurate, misunderstood the way the law works.
Correct. could not understand how to read the law and decided that they were going to rewrite the law and mess up the law. And to be clear, we were talking about judges being able to have enough discretion to decide whether or not they were going to give someone an opportunity maybe to clean their record, such as the bill author was given that opportunity under Florida law because his second felony was picked up when he was 21.
Oh, it needs to be Justin
So he
Freakin.
was older than 18. And under this law, if you were under, 25, so 24 or under, then the judges had discretion, correct?
But only in certain kinds of cases, not the most serious cases. And in fact, that discretion was, as we know, exercised very rarely. And it would have been an opportunity had the Congress wanted to talk with the folks who are involved in applying that law and seeing how it works, to understand that this is not a law that's out of sync with other states, and it's working.
Thank you so much. And the reason that it matters is because now the gentleman from Florida is trying to become a governor, and chances are maybe D.C., once they get statehood, could have had a future governor that had a second chance. But since they don't want other people to have chances that they've been given, they want to just pretend like they are bigger and better and badder than. So I will move on because I am frustrated that we are having this hearing when we know that this administration can't take care of their own business. As we know, they recently...
DJ Dub, if there is an issue that I would like you to see if you could give me a problem solve, a workaround, some kind of plug-in, a patch, something, that would be, I would forever be grateful for this. So we are streaming to Rumble, DLive, Odyssey, BitChute, not Facebook right now. If there was a way to be able to sync up their chats to where we could see their chats as well, because the chat is synced up through Restream. And it used to be really cool. You used to be able to fucking have everybody on Restream. But then, during the pandemic, they're like, oh, we can milk people for this shit because everybody's streaming now. So you can only have 2 channels, and that's why you see Kick and YouTube as the chats that show up on stream. When we get Twitch back, it'll be Twitch and YouTube, and then like Kick, we won't be able to see it on stream anymore. If there's a way that we can see everybody's chat, that would be awesome. And what DJ Dub is talking about is you'd be able to go to JustinFREAKIN.com, and there would be like an embedded stream of wherever, I'm sending a feed from. You would always have the stream there that day. I think Riverboat Jack does this. You might be familiar with several other people. I think the serfs have their own. And there's a chat that's dedicated to the website. John, it looked like you figured out Discord. You're in there, my friend. I see you. So you're asking me how to upload photos. In the message, you just hit the plus sign, and there's upload photo, create thread, create poll, use apps. It's very user-friendly. It takes a second to get used to it because it's laid out a little differently. It's laid out differently than most social media sites. It's kind of like a message board type deal. It takes a little getting used to. More like a Reddit than it is a Facebook. A private service somehow related to Vosh. Chainsaw had talked about, he did it himself. DJ Dub. He has his own. Chainsaw.cc, I think. Something like that. And I think he might have said he ripped it off of Vosh. I don't know. I haven't seen Chainsaw in a little bit. I hope he's all right. All right, let's do some more clips. We're gonna We're going to take Jon Stewart in about an hour and 10 minutes. We've got some more clips to watch from hearings that took place today. Oh my God. Of course. Fucking. I think this is the same hearing we just saw Jasmine Crockett at. The House Oversight Committee. Nancy Mace grilled. You just uploaded a photo. I just saw it. You figured it out. Nancy Mace was grilling the mayor of Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. The government of the District of Columbia, under the leadership sitting in front of us today, has become a poster child for DEI and gender madness. This has led to government. Mr. Chairman, this is not a concert. This audience can just settle down. I want to reclaim my time.
Stop the clock, and the gentlelady's right. Under the rules of the House, the chairman is responsible for maintaining order and preserving decorum in the committee room. I expect audience members to be respectful of the committee, so
I'd like to reclaim my time, too, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
This has led to government-sanctioned racial discrimination and the erasure of women. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 provides Congress plenary authority over the District of Columbia. Using this authority today, I'll be introducing the No DEI in D.C. Act. This bill will rip the DEI and gender bender nonsense out of the D.C. government root and branch and restore common sense and equal treatment under the law. As the individuals charged with writing D.C. laws, signing D.C. laws, and enforcing D.C.'s laws, we have some questions for you on the meanings of some of the curious terms we have found in the D.C. Code. My first question for Mayor Bowser, it's yes or no. The D.C. Code makes numerous references to, quote, structural or institutional racism. Do you believe the D.C. government is structurally or institutionally racist? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no? Is D.C. government racist?
Yes.
Institutionally racist? Yes or no? All right, you can't answer the question. So my next question for Mayor Bowser, since you're going to sit there and play.
Oh shit, Warlord. I had no idea that Chainsaw's mom passed away. Shit, I will totally reach out to him and send my condolences. Fuck, I had no idea. Chainsaw, my man, we're thinking of you. Yes, this is Nancy Mace. She looks like she's getting older by the day.
You use the phrase child welfare involved birth.
Hate really takes a toll on your soul. Maybe she hasn't had her Botox or something, but she's looking bad. Lee, welcome in.
People. Child welfare involved birthing people. Can you explain to me what this means?
I'm not that familiar with that part of the code.
Okay, and so you don't know. In Section 7-1234-02 of D.C. Code, you use the phrase justice involved incarcerated and homeless birthing people and their non-birthing partners. Can you explain to this committee what that means?
Yeah, okay.
I would have to see the whole section.
You don't know. You're literally the mayor of D.C. and you don't know your own code of laws.
Well, I don't know.
All right,
them
one thing we
verbatim.
noticed the D.C. Code struggles to define is the term woman. So, Mayor Bowser, what is a woman?
I'm a woman. Are you a woman?
100%.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I'm a woman. You're looking at one.
Okay, good.
Bam.
You actually, in Section 3-703 of the D.C. Code, you use the phrase, the intersectionality of gender and race to create unique dynamics and effects. Can you explain what this means to the committee?
Where is that, ma'am?
Section 3-703 of the D.C. Code. Do you know what that means? No, you don't know what that means. So Chapter 14D of the D.C. Code establishes the commission.
I'm happy to answer questions.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to reclaim my time. This is not her time, it's my time. You can be quiet as I ask you questions, and then you can answer them. And then you can answer them. I'm not, Mr. Chairman, this is my time, not hers. I'd like to reclaim my time.
Let's make good use of the time, Ms. Mace.
I'm making very good use of my time. And you're making my point. You're the mayor of D.C. and you don't even know your own code of laws. What is a birthing person?
I would assume it's someone who gives birth.
All right. Why don't you use, are these women? Are these
Yes.
You think it's appropriate to call them birthing person? Can a man birth a person?
Well,
Be a
that's
birthing
what
person?
I would call it, but I don't write all
Some
the
men
laws,
can,
and
yeah.
I'm not familiar with every
Can
section.
men get pregnant?
No.
Can men become women?
Can a man become a woman?
Yeah. Can a man become a
you're-
woman?
Miss
Yes
Mace,
or no? Can a man become a woman? Yes or no?
Miss Mace, I'm not here
Okay,
to
my
talk
next
about
question,
that.
Chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes the Commission on Reparations and a reparations fund to provide eligible African Americans monetary reparations or other forms of redress. Is it the position of DC government benefits should be provided to individuals on the basis of race?
I believe that the legislation requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you, is it the position of the DC government that government benefits should be provided on the basis of race?
If you're
is the
referring to
question.
that legislation, I believe it requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that government benefits should be given out on the basis of race? That is the question. This is the third time I'm asking.
We have any number of benefits programs, and eligibility is established.
You're not answering any of these
per program.
questions. I'll give it to you. You're slick. In Section 2-1383 of the DC Code,
You're slick.
social value of the LGBTQ community business economy to the district. Can you explain what this means to the committee?
It means that LGBT businesses provide economic benefit to the district's economy.
Do you think all businesses provide economic benefit to the DC economy?
They should, or they would be out of business.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. Chair.
What a disgusting woman. If you notice, I did not call her my GOP mommy there. I have ruled her out 100% as ever possibly being a lover of mine. Because if you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. Taking is too easy. Friendship never ends. If you want to be my lover, you have got to give. I may have fucked the words up. I don't know.
This is Mr. Gill from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this hearing. And I'd also like to thank the witnesses for taking the time to be here today. I know y'all are busy, so really appreciate it. Mayor Bowser, thank you to you especially for coming here. You've been mayor for about 10
This is
years,
Representative
right?
Brandon Gill.
And during that time, would you describe D.C. as a safe city?
Yes.
You would?
Listen,
Texas.
Mr. Gill, and it was brought up earlier by the Congresswoman from
The murder
Detroit.
rate in Washington, D.C. is the fourth highest of any city in the country. Would you describe that as a safe
I
city?
have heard every statistic and factoid, and they're all different about where
Are you
our city.
disputing
No,
that Washington, D.C. is the fourth highest murder rate in the country?
I'm not familiar with that
You're
statistic.
not familiar with that
What I know,
statistic.
Mr.
This is
Gill,
your city.
Mr. Gill,
Respectfully,
excuse
this is
me.
your city.
What I respectfully, I know that we have driven our murder rate down.
What was the homicide rate in 2014 before you were elected?
I don't know.
Do you know how much the homicide rate has changed during your tenure as mayor?
I do.
How much?
It has gone up.
It's gone up
and
by
it is
about
going
70%.
down.
It's gone up by about 70% from
I don't think that's
2014 to
correct. I don't think that's
2024. Those are
correct.
from the Metropolitan Police Department.
I
That
don't
is
think that
correct.
number is correct.
You should know the crime
Yeah, and
statistics for your own city,
I do
especially
know my
whenever it's
crime
this
statistics.
dangerous. Do you know how carjackings have trended during your time in office?
I know that they have gone down.
They're up over 500% since from 2014 to 2024. That's not a safe city. I don't think any person would call that a safe city. We'll move on. Do you agree that defunding the police makes our communities less safe?
I mean, overall, the country's pretty safe.
This is what I want to say.
It's a straightforward question.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Well,
filibuster.
this
Do
is
you
my
think
answer.
that defunding the police
This
makes
is
our
my
communities
answer.
less safe?
What I know is that people have moved here. People have sent their kids here. People have started businesses here. We have record.
Does
we have
defunding the
record
police make our
visitation,
communities
and
more
so
or less
those
safe?
are the indications
Does defunding the police
of
make
a
our
city
communities
where
more
people
or
want
less
to
safe?
live, work, and
You
visit.
won't even back your own police department right now. I'm asking you, does defunding the police make our communities more or less safe? And you won't give me a straight answer.
I've already answered that today.
And why don't you tell me again, do you think defunding the police makes our communities more or less safe?
I've never defunded the police, nor would I.
So you think it makes our communities less safe, is that correct?
I just told you, I've never defunded the police, and I never would.
understand that. You know, you You may not have defunded the police, and that's a good thing, but you did provide a $125,000 grant to an organization lobbying to defund the police. Are you aware of that?
What is that you just raised?
It's an organization called HIPS that you provided just this year,
Hips
fiscal
don't
year
lie.
2025, a $125,000 grant to.
I
This
think
is
we
them
funded
lobbying
them to
defund the
do public
police.
health work.
Quote, "It's time we shifted to a society free of police and systems of incarceration."
We fund them for public health work.
For public health?
Yes.
Does this make our communities more healthful?
We
By defunding our
fund
police?
them for public
Do you
health.
think defunding our police and lobbying to defund our police and undermine local
I've
law
answered that
enforcement
question.
makes our communities more safe?
I've answered
or
that
healthful?
question.
Do you think that providing tax dollars to an organization who wants to defund our police is good for the residents of Washington, D.C.?
We wouldn't fund them for that purpose. We would
But you
fund them.
funded them, and you chose to give them money. You gave them hard-working tax dollars to an organization that wants to defund the police.
We fund them for public health.
Do you think that giving housing, free housing to illegal aliens is an appropriate use of tax dollars?
We think if it keeps people off the streets, then we have to keep people off the streets.
You agree with giving your residents tax dollars and using them to give subsidized housing for illegal aliens?
But Mr. Gill, we also didn't agree with the governor of Texas
Or illegal aliens.
busing people, tricking
So
them
you-
to come to our city.
And it's
we
not,
didn't agree
not
with that
surprising
either.
to me because you're also funding NGOs that support free housing for illegal aliens.
And I hope you
And
would
they're
agree
lobbying for
that
You're
other
using tax
governors
dollars
shouldn't
to provide-
send people on
provide
buses
NGOs
that don't
that are
have any
lobbying to
housing
give
to our
free-
city.
Free housing for illegal aliens in your city. That makes your city less safe. I want to move on. In May of 2024, and this was referenced earlier, there were some major pro-Palestinian protests and sit-ins at George Washington University. This was during final exam season. They were terrorizing Jewish students. They were doing it for weeks. It was a major problem. The police were called in, and you stopped them from doing their job. Why is that?
I didn't stop the police from doing anything.
It is illegal for them to block a roadway. We've got the law right here. It's unlawful for a person, alone or in concert with others, to obstruct or incommode any street avenue. That's exactly what they were doing, and you refused to allow police to clear them out. Why is that?
That's incorrect.
Why would you stop? Clear the record then.
I never stopped the police.
You didn't stop them.
No, I did not.
You didn't stop them. Would you like to explain what happened? Why police never cleared out this roadway?
Police did clear roadways.
They were there for weeks.
Police cleared roadways.
They were there for weeks,
Actually,
terrorizing Jewish
they were
students, and this was
probably
in your
on
city.
private property, not on the roadway.
No, they were on public roadways.
No, they weren't.
Terrorizing Jewish students,
they
and you
weren't.
allowed it to happen.
No,
I
they
yield
weren't.
my time back.
No, they weren't.
Wow. That was Brandon Gill, representative from Texas. This is Scott Perry.
Guys, it's Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania.
From
Thanks, Mr.
Pennsylvania.
Mayor, thanks for being here. Thanks for being in the arena. We know it's difficult. I think the case that we're trying to make today is that there's a crime problem, and when you prioritize solutions, you
Is there a crime problem?
and I'm just going to quantify that statement because I think that Washington, D.C. has a crime problem. Shouldn't just say that, but if it's true, it'd be evidence. And the House Budget Committee reported in early 2024 that crime surged by nearly 40% last year, which is 2023, with over 270 murders, 950 carjackings, and 106 children shot, reminiscent of the 1990s crack epidemic. And of course, you've heard the stories of staff members here. We all kind of, believe it or not, know somebody that has been a victim of crime right in the nation's capital, right? As of October 2023, the violent crime rate in D.C. hit 664.2 per 100,000 people. For comparison, New York City had a violent crime rate of 184.4 per 100,000 people. So that's dramatic, right? 184.4 versus 664.2 for D.C. Dramatic. In 2024 in Washington, D.C., 72% of all property crimes were larceny, theft, and motor vehicle theft, burglaries, etc. Washington, D.C. had 3,693 offenses per 100,000 people, which would rank it first among all states in terms of highest property crime rates per USA Facts, and that's if it were a state. So that's what I'm saying. I think D.C. does have a crime problem. And look, there's been a lot of complaining here, not necessarily by you, about, what the president's actions are, the Guard being in D.C. In one case, they're, claiming that they're policing D.C. In the next case, they're, blowing the leaves away. It's one or the other, but it's not both. But let me ask you this. You got a problem. You're the mayor. You probably know. You're living here, too. Did you ever reach out to the president, to any president, and say, look, we've got a problem here. Will you deploy the Guard? Will you help us with police? We're not handling it. We can't fill our ranks. We can't afford to. Have you ever done that?
I have called on the National Guard in D.C. I called on them during COVID. I've called on them in other weather emergencies.
But what about as a general, look, the crime stats I just related to you are ongoing, right? This is not just a surge. This is just not a momentary COVID thing.
Yes,
this is a daily thing for the people of Washington, D.C. to endure, and the people of the country that want to come to their nation's capital who are afraid to come to endure. So have you ever done it on a consistent basis, saying to the President of the United States, this is the nation's capital, you reside here, can you send me the Guard to help assist with law enforcement or assist with policing? Have you ever done that other than episodically?
No, I described to you the times that we have done it.
And it's episodic, and so my point is that the problem has to be focused on, and it has to be fixed.
Mr. Perry, can I answer you a different way?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we don't regard the Guard as a law enforcement agency.
It's not a law enforcement agency. It can assist in law enforcement.
We wouldn't call on them to police our neighborhoods.
But you would agree that right now crime has dropped dramatically since they've been present.
Mr. Perry, what has worked is not the National Guard in helping enhance MPD services. What has worked is more DEA, more FBI.
So you're saying the Guard has had no impact in D.C.?
No, what I'm saying is the Guard is not, as has been described to us, has not been.
Can you quantify that?
I can't quantify a causal relationship.
You can't quantify it, so you can't make the claim. But I can quantify something. Listen, I want to talk to you about something else, which is...
But I do want to make the point.
I want to ask you this question. I'm running out of time, and I want to be respectful of everybody
here. But I don't
here.
think the Guard has made any arrests.
I want to ask you. So you've employed a bunch of traffic cameras. Can you, a whole pile of them, hundreds and hundreds of them, are traffic cameras for safety or for revenue generation?
They're for safety.
But it says here that you plan to fill a $580 million revenue hole in your budget shortfalls using traffic cameras, right? You said that.
No, what we said is that our budget includes revenue generated from traffic cams.
Expected 580. You said this, ma'am.
We want to drive.
It's per the Fines and Fees Justice Center. Let me just, because I want to quantify this as well. In 2006, you had 43 fatalities, traffic fatalities. But in 23 and 24, you had 52 each of those 2 years. The traffic cameras are not making your people safer, and particularly in wards 7 and 8, where it's predominantly a black population, 20% below the poverty line. These fines are imposed on them, hurt the worst for people. So traffic cameras and automatic traffic enforcement, it should be about safety, but it's unfortunately about revenue generation, and it's imposed on the people that can least afford it in the district.
I mean, he ain't wrong about that.
Well,
Mr. Chairman,
Perry,
I yield the balance.
I wish that you had also pointed to this year's traffic fatality and collision information. So in addition,
this year's not done yet.
Well, it's trending in the right direction. Yeah. Yes, but the trend is so that we would be at well below those numbers. And our traffic cameras are a part of that equation.
The traffic cameras, ma'am, with all due respect, You have the worst traffic in the country by city regarding according to Consumer Reports, and that includes L.A. And not allowing people to turn right on red is a contributor to that, and then fining them, especially in the places where people can least afford it, is grifting on the people that support your city, and it shouldn't be done. It should be about safety only. The fourth most populated city in the country, Hoboken, has 0 cameras and 0 fatalities, ma'am. I yield.
Thank you, Chair.
John, you call yourself a Christian. The Bible has 26, 27 something verses about how you should treat foreigners better than your own in your country. Commanding you how to treat foreigners, and it has multiple verses that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is a rich man to get into heaven. Charlie Kirk was a rich man. Immigrants, the poor, the downtrodden, the meek shall inherit the earth. The Bible is all about telling you to be good to those who have less than you. And rich people have brainwashed your dumb ass. Resources are indeed finite. That's why you should be upset at the billionaires who hoard them. Not other workers. Not other poor people. Please, John, get your head out of your goddamn ass. Seriously. You say you're a Christian. Your own Bible tells you to act the exact opposite of the way you act. In red letters. It's beyond infuriating. Let's go to Lauren Boebert versus Muriel Bowser. This one should be fun. Yet another choice cut. Do I mean the clip or Boebert?
Order. Ms. Boebert.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This has certainly been lively today. Madam Mayor, I appreciate you being here today, and I have a few questions for you. Do you believe in regard to crime, D.C. City Council is moving the district in the right direction or wrong direction?
The City Council and I are working...
Right or wrong direction?
We're moving in the right direction.
Okay. Why in 2023 did you veto the council's updates to the criminal code to eliminate most mandatory minimum sentences, reduce mandatory maximum penalties, and allow...
She might have her a sugar daddy, or maybe it's fake, who knows?
Jury trials for misdemeanors.
Well, I made clear at the time my objections to the rewrite of the criminal code. The criminal code does need to be updated.
Your objection was this bill does not make us safer, is that correct?
That's what I believe.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Bowser, as we know, City Council overruled your veto, and the criminal code changes went into effect 2023. This same year, crime rates rose dramatically. They overruled your veto, and then we saw crime rates rise dramatically. Do you believe that this bill contributed to the dramatic rise in crime that we saw in 2023 that's been mentioned here today as well by the council?
Well, the bill didn't go into effect, but I believe that it was necessary for us to look at our entire public safety ecosystem, not just that year, but previous years.
So you had some foresight that this could help, and you said this bill does not make us safer. The council overruled your veto, and at multiple events this year, you opposed National Guard deployments in Washington, D.C.
You says to follow the laws. That's why they elected Donald Trump.
D.C. Violent crime has
fucking
dropped,
moron. Seriously.
nearly 50%.
Well, Ms. Boebert, may I?
One moment. I'll give you a chance to respond. Since President Trump deployed the National Guard in D.C., violent crime has dropped nearly 50%. Property crimes like burglary, vehicle theft dropped about 25%, and carjacking saw a dramatic 28%.
I thought you were going to talk about burgers for a little bit.
In 2024.
But I'm hungry.
Will you admit, Mayor Bowser, that President Trump bringing in the National Guard has helped clean up this district? And if not, why have you let them stay here indefinitely?
What I have said is that the increase in federal law enforcement, National Guard is not law enforcement.
You've allowed them to stay here indefinitely, though.
The president controls the DC National Guard, and he purports to control the guards from other states.
Have you asked him to remove them?
Yes.
And you would be in favor of that? Do you think that crime would increase once again?
Ms. Bobart, I put in place a mayor's order that is a framework for how DC government will work with our federal partners.
Yes, ma'am.
And they include the FBI, the DEA, the ATF,
Yes, ma'am.
U.S.
Sorry, my time
Capitol
is short. I don't mean to
Police,
step over you.
as well as the United States
I
Secret
do
Service.
want to keep this respectful with you, and I don't mean
Yes.
to step over you. One more question, Mayor Bowser. Is cracking down on crime racist, as many of your Democrat colleagues have suggested?
That's not what anybody suggested.
Yes or no, is it racist, ma'am?
Not in D.C.
Thank you, ma'am. Chairman Mendelson, you believe that cracking down on crime is racist, correct? No? Is that not what you said? You said bringing in large numbers of federal or National Guard troops can escalate tensions, particularly in minority neighborhoods.
Well, yeah.
You also stated that federal deployments can disrupt daily life, disproportionately affect minority communities, and exacerbate racial tension.
Yes, yes.
So,
Are you asking about the National Guard or law enforcement?
I said federal or National Guard troops.
I do
And
think that-
we've seen police presence decrease under this council, and funding be redirected. So I really don't care to hear
That is
how
false.
pro-police you are, because I've seen those numbers decrease over the years and funding be stripped. And so with the National
We have
Guard,
not stripped funding in 4 years.
it has happened, and
Not
crime
in
has
4
increased.
years. What has happened in
Chairman
4 years
Mendelson,
is that
if I
we've
may,
not been reimbursed
so the
$83
federal
million by the
deployments
federal
can
government for
disrupt
police.
These things, and you said exacerbate racial tensions. So is it racist to bring in?
Militarization is oppressive
Is it
to
racist?
neighborhoods.
Yes.
Chairman?
No.
No. Okay, so are you redacting your statement and your
No.
position?
Militarization is a problem. I did not say that was racist, but it is a problem.
Mr. Chairman, you said that it increases racist tensions. So I would say that you are characterizing that as racist, bringing them in. Mr. Chairman, my time has expired.
Lauren Boebert today at the House Oversight Committee. Rashida Tlaib, and that's my real wafu. That's who I'm really attracted to. I know there's been a lot of I've driven the GOP mommy thing into the ground. That's who I'm actually attracted to.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Ms. Tlaib from Michigan.
Got
Thank
into
you so
it
much,
with
Mr.
Byron
Chairman.
Donalds.
I think it's
Tlaib
really
from
important
Michigan,
when we're talking
Donalds from
about
Florida.
700,000 people that live here, and I feel like their voice gets completely just dismissed. And so, if I may, Mr. Chair, ask unanimous consent to enter the record the Washington Post poll of D.C. residents found 8 out of 8 in 10 opposed Trump's taking over of their local police and sending in federal troops.
Without objections ordered.
I think it's also really important to understand, like, the incredible kind of slanderous, like, defamation. I don't know what
Beautiful
to call
glasses.
it. They're just burying Washington, D.C. You just heard them speak about our nation's capital in that way, in a way that I feel very much like that's not what I see. I see people walking around with their families, people enjoying time to see these beautiful, incredible, beautiful monuments and everything. And there's a pride here too. And so I just want to bring the DC residents into this committee, because I feel like they are being made invisible. And this really ugly picture that is not reflective. And I'm from Detroit. I've seen it happen to my city, and it's despicable in a way that I feel like really goes up against our values. One of the things that I know in every abuse of power that we let President Trump and the administration get away with in DC, it will be replicated. I want to, it will be expanded across the country, and it is going to tear apart our communities. You know, Mr. Jackson, I talked to you about a little bit about this, but I think it's important to understand that we do have a mental health crisis, that we have a housing crisis, affordability crisis. Can you police any of those away?
John, I'm going to once again prove how fucking stupid you are. This is why we all hate you people. This is why we hate right-wingers. Because you just said, he taught me to address my opponents with grace, love, and respect. This is your idea of what grace, love, and respect is.
You really have to wonder. In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive.
Well, at least now we don't have to imagine a world without Charlie Kirk, right? Ow!
They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies that turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our policies.
So that's your idea of grace, love, and respect. And by the way, he completely lied about what Sheila Lee said. She said that she was allowed to get into college thanks to affirmative action. That's what it is, affirmative action. It's not getting a slot that a more apt white person would have got. It's that a woman who wouldn't have got the opportunity elsewise was able to get that spot. And then she excelled in that spot. She even said, my graduation wasn't because of affirmative action. It was because of her hard work. Yes, you're really dumb. He completely lied about what Sheila Lee said. Just like you lied about what Ilhan Omar said. So what other conclusion can I draw other than you're a racist? Now, you said the words grace, love, and respect. This was Barack Obama. Was it yesterday, guys? It was yesterday. Talking about Charlie Kirk. And he called his wife stupid. Charlie Kirk called Barack Obama's wife stupid in the clip you just watched. This is Barack Obama speaking yesterday after Charlie Kirk was shot.
Look, obviously I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong. But that doesn't negate the fact that what happened was a tragedy and that I mourn for him and his family. He's a young man with 2 small children and a wife who obviously, and a huge number of friends and supporters who cared about him. And so we have to extend grace to people during their period of mourning and shock. We can also, at the same time, say that I disagree with the idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. That's not me politicizing the issue. It's making an observation about who are we as a country. I can say that I disagree with the suggestion that my wife or Justice Jackson does not have adequate brain processing power. I can say that I disagree that Martin Luther King was awful. I can disagree with some of the broader suggestions of that liberals and Democrats are promoting a conspiracy to displace whites and replace them by ushering in illegal immigrants. Those are all topics that we have to be able to discuss honestly and forthrightly, while we still insist that in that process of debate, we respect other people's right to say things that we profoundly disagree with. That's how we should approach this. Now, the last...
I played you a clip of Charlie Kirk and then a clip of Barack Obama. One of those men embodied this is the exact phrase you used, John, grace, love, and respect. That's what Barack Obama showed. Charlie Kirk showed none of that. So forgive us for being disgusted with the things you say. You say he played her own words, and he did, and she didn't say what he said she said. And that's what's amazing. I understood what she said perfectly. That she got the opportunity to go to college through affirmative action that she wouldn't have had otherwise, but that she earned her degree on her own. And you want to take that away from her. You don't think that she should be in that spot because she's a black woman. And that is disgusting. You are a racist. Charlie Kirk was a racist. And I don't care how many times that you say that you love me or that you love everybody and that you have no hate for anybody or that you'll pray for us. You seriously are filled with hate. Charlie Kirk's words were hateful. He was mocking a bunch of black women, saying they did not deserve to be in the spots that they were in. And you are endorsing that. You're not a good person. Now, it may be some internalized racism because you're too fucking stupid to understand. But you're a racist, my friend, and I can't help it. And I pointed it to you last night. You completely took what Ilhan Omar said out of context. You are a horrible human being. You are nothing like Jesus. The Bible said a rich man can't get into heaven. Rich men should give everything they own to the poor, and that you should care about the downtrodden. The meek shall inherit the earth. But you want to pass judgment on other people. You want to be a nasty individual. what her podcast is, a gallons of dumb in a 10-gallon hat. You're an idiot. You're a complete fucking moron and should not be passing judgment on anybody else's intellect. And I don't know how I can show it to you any clearer. You said grace, love, and respect. Barack Obama showed grace, love, and respect to Charlie Kirk, his family, and anybody who may be mourning. Affirmative action does not take spots from more qualified applicants. Just like everything else we talked about last night, you have no idea what the hell you are talking about. If you don't actually know what affirmative action is, it is making a spot for somebody who wouldn't otherwise be able to get in because of their race, not because of their grades. They excel. All of the people that Charlie Kirk mentioned excelled. They were exceptional students. You are a stupid piece of shit. That's why you're a racist. I don't know how I can make it any clearer for you, my friend. We're going to do some... You did take everything out of context. I played you the whole context and explained it to you. And then you had to backtrack and be like, oh, well, her body language offended me. You're a dumbass. And you're a virulent racist, you piece of shit. Now shut the fuck up. Nobody is going to talk to you. We've got 30 minutes to get several stories in. But first, I want you to hear from Muriel Bowser and her thought process on what went on during the hearings today.
The one taking your phone.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No.
Heated moments on Capitol Hill today as D.C. officials were grilled by the House Oversight Committee. This outburst you just heard is between two U.S. House of Representatives. Mayor Muriel Bowser, D.C. Council Chairman Phil Mendelson, and Attorney General Brian Schwab faced questions about crime in D.C. Thanks so much for joining us on the news at 4. I'm Annie Yu. The hearing comes on the heels of the Trump administration's federal surge in the district over crime. Rafael Sanchez Cruz is live on Capitol Hill. Rafael, there were some moments of heated exchange at times.
Yeah, Annie, and you just saw one of those there. They didn't even involve some of the D.C. officials that were here to testify. I actually want to get more into detail about that exchange that you saw there. It was between Democrat Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and Republican Congressman Byron Donalds. Now, Tlaib was arguing that Republicans were simply painting a negative picture of D.C. and they weren't showing the beauty of the district and its residents. And this is how that situation escalated. Let's watch that again.
Paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
No, I don't yield. I don't even have time.
This
You're
is
going to look at 14, 15-year-olds as a bunch of criminals?
It's insane.
Oh,
Do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
Yeah, and that situation continued for several seconds after that. Now, I do want to talk about the actual testimony. So all three of the D.C. officials touted how crime has gone down 53% compared to 2023 when we saw that rise in violent crime here in the district. Mayor Muriel Bowser admitted that the Trump administration's federal surge has resulted in a 39%
We're about 25 minutes away from
Democrats have called
the Daily Show. That's going to be kick only, though.
But Republicans
Kick and D Live. I'm sorry, not kick only. Kick and D Live.
Necessary. Some
no YouTube. Sorry, YouTube.
Officials are soft on crime. Listen to Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor's questioning today.
Mayor Bowser, do you prioritize criminals or the victims?
I prioritize law-abiding D.C. residents, visitors, and workers.
So that would be law-abiding citizens and victims. Do you support the police, Mayor Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Mendelson, do you prioritize criminals or victims of criminals?
I believe in swift and certain justice. And
no, I asked you either one. Victims of criminals, of crime, or the criminals themselves. Which one do you prioritize?
As I understand the question, victims.
Yeah, just about 15 minutes ago, Mayor Muriel Bowser responded to these hearings. She had some pretty strong words and called this hearing. Let's listen actually to what exactly she had to say. Let's listen.
I thought the hearing was disgraceful in its characterization of the district. We know that the district is 700,000 people, great neighborhoods, great businesses where people want to live, start businesses.
Hey, you guys can just ignore him.
And visit. Has the district...
He's harmless. He's the guy that called in last night and argued with me for like an hour and a half, and I thought I got to admit that he was fucking stupid and didn't know what he was talking about, but nope. John, I explained it to you. Brother, if you're going to come in here and lie about black women and say they're stupid when they're not, or that they got a spot that white people deserved, you're a fucking racist, you dumbass. I just showed you Charlie Kirk being a vile piece of shit and calling people names. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if you call names, right? I do it all the time. But own it. You can't say that somebody showed grace, love, and respect when they were a vile racist and called people names. And then I showed you Barack Obama. He was the definition of grace, love, and respect. And you hate that man. So what? Why? He's black, right? Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is infinitely smarter than you by a long shot. The fact that you, a complete fucking moron, thinks that you're smarter than someone who is on the Supreme fucking Court is just an indication. Like, hold on, man. Like, I don't agree with Neil Gorsuch, but he's probably smarter than me. Like, fucking man. Get a grip on reality, dude. You fucking moron.
Did the district have a crime spike in 2023? Yes. Have we driven down crime in the 2 years since? Yes.
And look, I can tell you there were a lot of issues that were brought up today. Among those, the accusations and allegations that DC police might be manipulating crime data. We'll get more into that in the 5 o'clock hour. I'm live on.
I kind of miss Bagheera.
Cruz, Annie, back to you.
Listen, I don't think Bagheera's real. I think he's a leftist that's just trying to, give me some bait. I've come to the conclusion, nobody can be that fucking stupid. I mean, John fucking close. Phew. We've got 20 minutes until the Daily Show. Now, there's just been a few different things that Bagheera has said, and I've laughed my ass off. Like, you can't be for real. We were talking about Congress. Let's do some crime stories real fast. Lightning round crime stories. Get these in before Daily Show. A congressional staffer was set on fire, died after catching fire.
And we begin tonight with an investigation surrounding the death of a staffer from U.S. Congressman Tony Gonzalez's office. Gonzalez saying today he is heart-stricken over the death of Regina Santos Aviles. Just over an hour ago, Uvalde police told us they have done an initial review of the case. KSAT investigates Daniela Ibarra, working to get more information on this. But Daniela, what we've learned so far, it's disturbing. A family member of Santos Aviles told you that she died after catching fire.
Yeah, I spoke on the phone with a couple of these family members who say they are devastated by this loss. They're adamant that this wasn't an accident, but it is important to note that the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office, they're still trying to figure out how and why she died. But here's what we do know.
This wasn't an accident.
Police, firefighters, and paramedics were called out to Santos Aviles' home on Saturday night. Police called it a disturbance. A family member told us Santos Aviles was transferred to CMC, actually airlifted to CMC, to be treated for extensive burns. The medical examiner's office says she died on Sunday. Uvalde police say they're working with the Texas Rangers to investigate this, but police don't believe there was any foul play. According to her LinkedIn, Santos Aviles was the executive director of the Uvalde Area Chamber of Commerce. She left that job in 2021 to become Representative Gonzalez's Uvalde regional director. Gonzalez represents U.S. District 23, which stretches from the west part of San Antonio out to El Paso. The congressman sent us a statement saying in part, quote, we are all heart-stricken by the recent news. Regina devoted her profession toward making a difference in her community. Santos Aviles leaves behind her husband and a young son who's about 8 years old.
So her family is saying this was an accident. They believe it was an accident?
Yeah, I spoke with 2 family members.
They believe it was an
They
accident.
believe this was an accident.
Yeah.
That's something they kept repeating on the phone.
Still, so many questions about how this happened, what led up to it, and I know you're going to work to find us that more information, Daniela. Thank you.
Thanks.
John, shut up. All you're doing is repeating what Matt Walsh programmed you to think. Like, you have no idea what a woman is. Shut up. You have, like, zero idea about any of these topics. Yesterday, we covered the 3 new good cops. They have been identified.
And thanks for joining us for Fox 43 News at 5. I'm Evan Forrester. The 3 police officers who were shot and killed in York County yesterday have been identified within the last hour by York County District Attorney Tim Barker. Northern York County Regional Police Officers Cody Becker, Mark Baker, and Azai Emmenheiser, all detectives with the department,
Brody,
were shot and killed during an ambush by 24-year-old Matthew Ruth, that according to...
If you're coming into my chat, do you know how many times I hear what is a woman? Every time somebody gets trapped rhetorically, they're like, oh yeah, what is a woman? Yeah, you've been programmed to say that, dumbass. Right-wingers are morons. Light one up, tip one back. Welcome in, Brody. Speaking of which, if you're so concerned about what Matt Walsh has to say, he once called me a formidable voice in the culture.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
What's a female? Dumbass, it's circular logic. What's a female? A woman is someone with predominantly feminine traits. Feminine is malleable. I know I got a point. That's why Matt Walsh called me a formidable voice in the culture.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
I used to work for a right-wing talk show host, and he was like, I don't believe that Matt Walsh said that about you. He sent me the clip, and I'm like, okay, I'll send you the clip. I sent it to him, and he's like, Matt was making fun of you. And I was like, I was making fun of Matt. What? Of course he was making fun of me. That's why it's funny.
43 News at 5.
Wait a minute. Saying what with a bong? Did you hit subscribe? I wowed you with my intellect while hitting a bong? Abso-fucking-lutely I did. I'm over here getting Willie Nelson high.
You're Willie Nelson high. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in.
It wasn't that I got played on Matt Walsh that got me all the followers from that. It was that Vosh and the Surfs and all the other leftist content creators watched the clip of Matt Walsh watching me. That's what got me the followers. We talked about the good cops that happened last night. Let's get the update.
I'm Evan Forrester. The 3 police officers who were shot and killed in York County yesterday have been identified within the last hour by York County District Attorney Tim Barker. Northern York County Regional Police Officers Cody Becker, Mark Baker, and Isaiah Emmenheiser, all detectives with the department, were shot and killed during an ambush.
This is the Troll Patrol Live. We find out what that news be doing.
Barker after
While
trying
handing
to
out
serve
titty
a
slaps
warrant against him.
Oh God, I'm gonna blow Brody's mind here. You get a titty slap, my friend.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
I want to act janky.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
There you go. There's some titties for you.
Fox 43's James Corrigan, live at the Northern York County Regional Police Department headquarters. He has details
Daily Show in
of
15.
what the district attorney has found so far with the investigation.
Well, Evan,
sorry, YouTube people. That's going to be a Kick and D-Live only thing.
Of the community here around the Northern York Regional Police Department, the monument behind me, the memorial behind me to the officers has only grown throughout the day as the community is coming to grips with the loss of 3 police officers in the line of duty.
They're mission driven, and that day they continued their mission. Well, their mission is now complete.
York County District Attorney Tim Barker delivered an emotional tribute to the 3 Northern York Regional Police officers killed yesterday in North Carolina Township. Cody Becker, Mark Baker, and Isaiah Emmenheiser. Barker says,
don't leave us, Brody. You found like the best place on the internet.
Ruth for stalking the home of his ex-girlfriend's mother. When they arrived to that home and opened the door, Ruth fired at the
Was it the titty slap that ran him off?
Killing 3 and wounding 2 before succumbing to a gunshot wound.
The door was opened, and upon immediately opening the door, the actor repeatedly fired at the officers with multiple rounds from an AR-15 styled rifle with a suppressor.
According to court documents, Ruth's ex-girlfriend's mother told police that he had set her truck on fire and was seen through a trail camera standing in her driveway and was looking through a scope into the residence with an AR-style rifle across his chest. Barker says the actions of the department in protecting the residents of the home saved them from themselves being the victims.
Had they arrived home and not Northern Regional Police Department officers arrived, they would have been killed immediately by the actor.
The shooting marks the second time this year that York County has had to mourn a fallen officer after Andrew Duarte was killed in April in an incident at UPMC Memorial Hospital. Barker paid tribute to all the law enforcement who responded to the scene, who did their duty in the most harrowing of circumstances.
Job well done. Mission well served. And we will love you forever and all eternity.
Forever and ever,
Now,
you stay in my
today,
heart.
From Governor Josh Shapiro, who said that the 2 officers who were wounded in the shooting would likely make a full recovery. And for those who want to donate to the families of the fallen officers, the police chief here at Northern York said that there would be an official portal for those donations coming very soon. Evan.
I don't know. I'm crass. I'm uncouth. I say a lot of things that are really, horrible, but it's all in jest. I have any hatred for anybody or anything. I try to stick up for the little guy in most situations. How many more stories can we get in before the Daily Show? Ooh, this one's long. I'm going to have to bookmark this one for another time. Because we want to watch that. Fucking cops. Cops fucking up. That's always... man in scuba gear robs a Disney restaurant. Yes. The only thing I put myself out there and I make myself virtually unemployable. No place is really gonna hire me if they know that JustinFREAKIN is Justin Mullins. And I don't do anything to hide the two anymore. And I wish that I had been JustinFREAKIN sooner, but it was always the employment thing that made me not want to go full force into it. But if I'd done it 10 years earlier, I'd probably be, it'd be me instead of Destiny. Yeah, Warlord, that bridge is awesome. You're right.
New at 4, we start with a Channel 9 exclusive that is almost unbelievable. It happened at Disney Springs. Good afternoon, I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Martha Sagowski. Orange County deputies are looking for this man. They believe he swam up to a Disney Springs restaurant last night in a wetsuit and robbed it for thousands.
Oh, not Disney. Not Disney. Disney Springs. Oh, Disney restaurant?
Nick Papantonis.
Is it a place or is it Disney?
Outside of Disney Springs. Nick, that suspect still on the run?
Like Disney.
It's not clear where he got in and out of the water from. It could have been right here, frankly. That is the Paddlefish restaurant behind us, which was a crime scene at midnight. The Paddlefish restaurant prepared to open as normal Monday.
Or is Disney Springs just the name of a place?
This man swam up to the replica steamboat, stripped off his wetsuit, and robbed the restaurant of at least $10,000 in cash. A heavily redacted report showing it happened just after midnight, after the restaurant closed and the manager was counting money to put into the safe.
Oh, yeah, it's part of the resort.
Spray painted the security camera. He forced 2 employees to get into the
I hate your stupidity, John. I really do.
The robbery taking about 2 minutes before the man left and the employees called 911. Investigators believe the man, who was described as wearing clothes and a beanie by the employees, put his scuba gear on, got back into the water, and swam off. But to where, they don't know. The investigation still active.
I can't believe we're going to watch real
Nobody
TV.
was hurt in this robbery. Investigators are still working this. It's still active, and both the owner of the restaurant and Disney spokespeople are referring all questions to them. Live in Lake Buena Vista, Nick Papantonis, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Justin is too horny to hate anybody. That's goddamn right. Let's go from Disney to Universal.
Multiple blunt impact injuries. What we just learned about the cause of death of a man who died after riding this roller coaster at Universal's Epic Universe, as we continue to gather new details on the big story right now at 6. The ride, the Stardust Racers, remain closed tonight. Good evening, I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Darlene Jones. The medical examiner ruling 32-year-old Kevin Zavala's death an accident from multiple blunt impact injuries. And he told me, Greg, just about a half hour ago, this is trauma or injury caused by coming into contact with a blunt object. Channel 9 Sabrina Majori is live outside of Epic Universe tonight. And Sabrina, this all raises new questions.
Yeah, Darlene, and we actually spoke to some of Zavala's family members. We learned he's actually a man who's based in Kissimmee. They're understandably not ready to talk about all of this today, but you can see behind me, Stardust Racers is closed. No one's getting on or off the ride today. The brand new information from the medical examiner raising those new questions about exactly what happened here.
Kissimmee resident 32-year-old Kevin Zavala's death deemed an accident. The Orange County medical examiner says blunt force injuries are to blame after he became unconscious on one of Epic Universe's premier attractions, Stardust Racers.
Stardust Racers is a very intense attraction. It is the center point.
No, Universal is Disney's only competition, really. Well, I guess Six Flags.
Multiple times. It reaches speeds of 62 miles per hour and sends passengers up more than 133 feet into the air.
When you hit that height, even though you're strapped in, you're going to feel yourself almost weightlessness, lack of gravity, airborne, whatever you want to call it. It's an intensity unlike anything I've ever felt.
Stardust Racers opened with the rest of Epic Universe back in May, but a July report shows there have been incidents on Stardust Racers before.
Disney, Universal, and some of the others, they must do their own safety inspections and then report any injuries, any deaths, and so on to the state.
That self-reported data showing 2 incidents in June, though both were minor. A 63-year-old with pre-existing conditions became dizzy on the ride, and a 47-year-old who also had pre-existing conditions experienced numbness after riding the attraction.
And Universal Orlando sent us a statement saying, quote, "We are devastated by this."
You may experience numbness after you ride this attraction.
To the guests' loved ones, we are cooperating with the ongoing investigation, and the attraction remains closed. We have asked Universal whether they have any more information about what may have caused, again, those blunt force.
We're up 5 minutes from the Daily Show.
Asked several other questions. We will let you know once we hear back. But for now, reporting live in Orange County, I'm Sabrina Majori, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now we got a wild one. This is out of Seattle. I don't know. I think it's a police chase. Dude in a stolen car.
Several Seattle police units were tailing a stolen car through East Lake. To avoid a pursuit, they'd not yet turned on their lights and sirens, but as they approached the University Street drawbridge, they saw their chance.
001, I got him stuck on the traffic at the bridge here, crossing over the Lake Hut. Roger, stuck on traffic, going northbound on University. Bridge is up, I'm gonna have him stop here, hold here. There's held University Bridge, northbound, bridge is up.
Whoop.
He actually made the jump over the bridge. And
He made the jump over the bridge.
Through the sign on the other side. Can you let North know? Alright, so suspect made the jump over the bridge and fly through the sign. Good open there. He's going to be eastbound straight towards UW. Alright, eastbound towards UW. There's routine 1226.
2 hours, just to be clear, you weren't pursuing.
Translation: no police cars jumped the drawbridge, right?
No pursuit. It was back streets and heavy traffic.
Here's a quick replay of the hop over the bridge. Pretty impressive, but I think he could have done it when it was open a bit wider. The stolen car was found empty and abandoned a short distance away. This is not the first time the traffic cameras have captured chaos on a drawbridge. Almost exactly a year ago, an allegedly impaired driver hit the barriers of the lower Spokane Street Bridge and came to a crashing halt just before going over the edge. They were trapped in the car, and once extricated, the driver was arrested.
Thank you to Seattle Traffic Cams. Give them a like and subscribe. Again!
Change, Seattle. Never.
Bridge here crossing over the Lake Hut. Roger, stuck on traffic.
You got 2 minutes until the Daily Show.
Bridge is up. I'm going to have him stop here, hold here. There's held University Bridge, northbound. Bridge is up.
Daily Show is going to be D-Live and Kick only. Cops did not go for the jump.
He actually made the jump over the bridge, and
maybe if they had a better driver behind the wheels, if they thought about hiring, a cat to be an officer.
We've all heard of police canines, but what about a police feline? Meet Lieutenant Jax, the newest member of the Belleville Police Department. Being new on the job isn't
ACAB does not mean the kitty.
Jax has found a way
no, you motherfuckers.
right at home.
It's just a pleasure.
We're going to say goodbye to YouTube.
Back in August,
The
Jax
podcast, light one up, tip one back.
Department's
It's all right, have a little fun before we hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
took him in. Now they can't imagine this
Flo is
place
down to
without.
fuck.
Chief Bill Eichel-Kraut has a dedicated spot for
I'll see you guys Sunday night on the Troll Patrol live.
watching videos and
Kick people, stick around.
a bigger purpose for this lovable cat right away.
D-Live, I'll turn you back on.